Could be a fond farewell, even though Ruben Neves has got a year remaining on his contract. This is likely to be his final game at Molineux, and certainly their form at home and away is as in stark contrast to night and day. As we're underway with Wolves playing from left to right as we look in the gold shirts, the black shorts, against Everton in their royal blue shirts and white shorts. Daniel Bentley, who made his debut at Old Trafford last week, makes his home debut. The former Southend, Brentford and Bristol City goalkeeper. Semedo, Dawson and Collins, and Totti is the defence. 6 changes, incidentally, made from the side that put in a rather tame display at Old Trafford. Podence, Neves, Gomez, João Gomez that is, Adama Traoré, Hwang and Sarabia. And for Everton, just the one alteration, and McNeil is playing as a left back, and it is a flat back four up against Traoré. Their one change is actually Onana coming in for Holgate. I'll run through the Everton starting lineup after we've heard of a goal at Edgeley Park. Lee Blakeman.
Salford are ahead with 8 minutes of extra time to play. A lot of fortune in it. Stevie Milan has hit one from 25 yards out. It took a huge deflection to take it past Ben Hinchcliffe. The Salford substitutes and management team on the pitch, as are some of the fans. Salford leading 2-1 on aggregate. It's 1-1 on the afternoon.
Thank you, Lee. Carlisle United and Bradford City just underway at Brunton Park in the second semi-final, as Semedo straight away on the attack on the right-hand side delivers a low ball in, just too far ahead of the on-rushing players. It was Sarabia who tried to get there at the near post. That Everton side, as promised, by the way. Pickford is in goal, a back four of Patterson, Tarkowski, Mina and McNeil at left back, Iwobi, Onana, Doucouré, Gay, Garner and Calvert-Lewin. He wasn't that far away, was he, Sarabia?
No, we just talked there about Dwight McNeil playing in that unfamiliar role as left back, and he's up against one of the quickest players in the league today in Traoré, and they were really exposed there. Traoré got the ball and Semedo just overlapped him around the outside, got in behind McNeil so easy, and the ball just fizzed across that Everton 6-yard line. Early warning signs for Everton.
Cleared away then by Patterson, as it was going to come back to Sarabia. There's a little nudge there by Gay. Certainly Everton's form away from home. I mean, that win at Brighton, I heard you talking earlier on, 5-1, complete game changer in terms of the relegation picture.
It was incredible. I mean, I don't think anybody foreseeing that result coming. So we talk about Everton in the build-up to that game, about a team that's struggling to score goals, don't score freely without Dominic Calvert-Lewin. But what a performance that was away from home, and they didn't have a lot of the possession either, but that was a fantastic away performance, and that has given Everton, Sean Dyche and these supporters here today real belief that they can stay up with this game here today and then the following week at home to Bournemouth.
Well, McNeil, of course, was at the heart of it, and he's gone across to the right-hand side. It's a left-footed free kick that's delivered low, knocked down header by Mina and Calvert-Lewin, and a lot of Everton supporters thought he'd scored. They're on the far side. Calvert-Lewin swivels, hits the side netting. They must have just seen the net bulge, and they thought they'd taken the lead, but it was never going in.
Those of you who know Molineux, you know that the Everton fans are away opposite side to us on the bottom tier, and they're looking across the field. They thought that Calvert-Lewin had scored. It was a great free kick by McNeil, one that you see Sean Dyche and Everton do quite often. They make no apologies for putting it into the box, using the centre-half's height, fighting for the second ball. Calvert-Lewin got the second ball and just unfortunately hit the side netting.
Now McNeil is back on defensive duties in his left-back role to try and keep Adama Traoré at bay. Back it goes to Semedo, who's out of contract at the end of this season, although they do have the option of a 2-year deal to exercise. As the ball goes out to Totti, the left back inside, the little touch to Podence, he loses the ball, and another goal at Stockport, Lee.
Stockport are level, I don't believe it, with 5 minutes of extra time to go. Ball in from the left, substitute Jack Stretton with a header from about 2 yards out. Hugh pandemonium at Edgeley Park. It is 2-2 overall.
And how long have you got before penalties?
5 minutes, Ian. 5 minutes of extra time to go. 5 very, very nervous and tense minutes.
So 2-2 on aggregate there in the first of the semi-finals of the playoffs in League Two. Neves for Wolves. Collins, one of the 6 changes, back in the side. Everton fans making themselves heard. McNeil robs Adama Traoré of the ball, and now he runs forward and then he shrugs off the challenge of João Gomez, and he makes good headway on this near side, the left, carried the ball a long way, level with the penalty area, and then held up by Neves. Out of play, it goes for a throw.
Very good at doing that, Dwight McNeil. He's a lovely carrier of the ball, and he shows there from the deeper position that he's not afraid to run with the ball, takes the ball on around the outside, and he's looking to get his team a throw-in or free kick in the final third of the field, which is what Everton will look to rely on today. They'll look to create chances to get set plays and throw-ins deep in that Wolves final third.
That's the voice of the former England international Paul Robinson, who's with us here on BBC Radio 5 Live, and we're now indeed joined by those listening to the BBC World Service. So wherever you are in the world, always a pleasure to have your company. You join us here at Molineux, the home of Wolverhampton Wanderers, under the clear blue sky, and the sun is shining, and it remains Wolves 0, Everton 0, and we've played for 5.5 minutes as that balloons away from Collins, keeps it in play, and then slices his clearance, and it's kept actually in play by McNeil, operating as a left back for Everton, now to his former Burnley colleague Tarkowski, who goes across, and now coming in between is Garner, and Garner will run forward and pass the ball out towards Patterson, who then solves Onana a little bit short, and Hwang with the interception, hit early then by Neves. Podence waits, a bouncing ball, diminutive player, doesn't keep that in play. With his little stature, he was always struggling to that bouncing ball, Daniel Podence. It'll be an Everton throw.
And interesting to see there, Dano, the ball just stopped, it stood up, and on days like this, as we get towards the end of the season, the pitches are watered heavily, but as the game goes and the sun shines, as a goalkeeper and a defender, it's very difficult sometimes to judge the through ball, because there's areas of the pitch that will be wetter than others, and sometimes it'll skid through and sometimes the ball stops. So as the game goes towards half-time, it will get more and more difficult on the depth perception.
Now, earlier in the Scottish Premiership at Tynecastle, Hearts beat Aberdeen by 2-1. And Celtic are actually trailing the champions at home to St Mirren. We'll bring you news of that goal when we can at Celtic Park, as McNeil for Everton here at Molineux waits to take the throw, and it's with Gay, who tries to hold off the challenge of Sarabia, and Gay is adjudged to have been fouled. The referee David Coote gives that decision in favour of the away side, who've got an opportunity in many ways to lay down a marker and then put pressure on Forest and then Leeds and Leicester over the next day or two.
They really have. I mean, you hear managers and players saying we're just concentrating on ourselves, we're taking care of our business, we're not looking at other results. But believe me, with Everton playing first today, before Forest, before Leicester on Monday, and Leeds tomorrow, they really will be able to set down a marker, and it does change your mindset, it does change your perception going into a game, having known that Everton have picked up a point, having picked up 3. Even if they've lost, the mindset of the players chasing in the chasing pack will be one of determination.
And also goal difference could be such a factor as Sarabia tries to play a flat ball into Hwang, and that was cleared away, because Everton at the minute are -24, Leeds are -25. Reading were the last team to be relegated on goal difference back in 2008, and Everton know all about surviving on goal difference. 1998, speaking to the esteemed Times football writer Paul Joyce ahead of kickoff, he was telling me all about Everton, Coventry. I mean, automatically I think of 1994 with Everton surviving on the last day against Wimbledon, but 4 years later they were back at it again. There's been a goal at Bournemouth, John Akers.
And it's a goal for Manchester United. It's Casemiro, and it is absolutely brilliant. A chip ball into the penalty area. He took a touch. I'm just watching it back now. I think he takes a touch. He gets a touch on the defender, and then a flying acrobatic volley just about 3 or 4 yards out into the roof of the net. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1.
Ball cleared away by Neves. There is a scenario, I mean, the title you'd think is going to be settled this weekend, and you'll hear both games that could determine that on BBC Radio 5 Live, as Decore sends over a cross from the left. Calvert-Lewin tried to attack it, and it goes wide and out for a goal kick. But a Manchester United win and Liverpool lose to Villa, the Champions League places are settled. Forest avoid defeat and Everton win. Leeds and Leicester could go this weekend, so you could have all 3 issues settled this weekend.
Don't spoil it, Deno. We want it to go to the last game of the season, don't we? Listen, if that's one of the permutations, I think it's one of the most unlikely ones. I think the way that this season's gone and the way that the bottom of the table has gone, I think we're going all the way to next weekend.
Yeah, I suspect you're right. Celtic, of course, we mentioned that they've wrapped up the title, and Conor McLaughlin with news of that goal.
They have, but as you'll know, St Mirren still very much in the hunt for European football. That will be a delight, the news of this Curtis Main goal to the Saints fans. He got the better of Iwata, who's in as a makeshift centre half. He just wrong-footed him and slid the ball under Joe Hart's leg for Main's 8th goal of the season, and it means that still alive, Europe that is, for St Mirren. Celtic 1-0, St Mirren 1.
Traore with a cross, caught by Pickford. That was why that Hearts win at Tynecastle was so crucial against Aberdeen for Hearts in that 2-1 victory earlier. As Everton forward, Onana holds on to the ball, the referee gets out of the way, finds Iwobi to the edge of the area, sends over the cross. Calvert-Lewin again climbing 6 yards out, couldn't keep his header down, but they are creating chances in these opening 10 minutes.
What a chance that is for Calvert-Lewin then. I think he's going to really rue that miss. It's a great ball in by Iwobi from this left hand side, curled in with his right foot. Calvert-Lewin gets in front of his marker, gets a free header from 6 yards, and he should do better. He's got up and above it, he's just put it over the bar. But that all starts from Jordan Pickford. In this game, Everton have set, they've played the ball long, they've waited for the goalkeeper to kick the ball. He threw a quick ball out there to Onana, who quickly went forward to Iwobi, and within 3 passes they had a cross into the box, and Everton really should have scored.
Yep. Well, he was a doubt coming into this game. He left the field of play against Manchester City with a groin injury, but his fitness is a boost, and you can see that he all of a sudden he just gives them something that they've lacked for large parts of this season for Everton. 32 goals, only Wolves and Southampton have scored fewer in the top flight. Let's get an update from Leeds, Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Leeds, Rhinos 14, Wigan 4. It looks as though Leeds are really pulling clear. Harry Newman juggling one, but managing to beat the cover defender and score for the Rhinos. They were 14-0 up. Bevan French has just scored for Wigan to pull them back into the tie. Harry Smith missing off the tee. It's Leeds 14, Wigan 4.
Thank you, Matt. That, of course, is on BBC television. Match of the day tonight, 10:30 for all of the goals in the Premier League. McNeil swings over a free kick. Edge of the area headed away by Collins for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Toty, the left back, gives it away. Gay then with a shot coming onto that, but it was always on the rise off his left foot. And that was no problem whatsoever for Daniel Bentley.
No, never really threatened the goal, but Sean Dyche down here below will be really pleased with the way that his team have started. Apart from that early chance when Wolves got in behind McNeil with the pace of Traore, Everton have been comfortable, they've defended well, and they've created a couple of really good chances with Dominic Calvert-Lewin with the crosses into the box. The second one, the best of all, he should have done a lot better with his header.
Calvert-Lewin robs Collins in possession, edge of the area. Iwobi tries to chip it inside. Here is Gay, brings it under control. Onana opens it up, Patterson joins the attack. It's been a confident start by Everton in these early exchanges. 13 minutes played, 0-0. Back towards Garner. Garner's cross headed away by Neves. Picked back up though by Garner. Dives into the challenge as it got away from him. Gay spreads it out towards Patterson, right hand side. Patterson with the cross, deflected behind for a corner. Everton are playing well.
Very good, and even when they lose the ball, Deno, they're looking to get it back. They're losing the ball in the final third. They're very quick, they're first one to the tackles, they're snapping in at Wolves, they're not giving them any time. They're certainly on the front foot.
So McNeil wanders across towards the far side, the Everton right, and bathed in sunshine in the bottom tier. The entire stretch of that Steve Bull stand over on the far side are the Evertonians who've made that journey down the M6 this morning. And it's going to be a corner kick to Everton. We're in the 14th minute and it remains 0-0. The referee's just blown his whistle. He's just calling Tarkowski towards him. Kilmarnock 0, St Johnstone 1 is a score at Rugby Park. That's good news for St Johnstone, less so for Kilmarnock, who are only 3 points clear at bottom of the table, Dundee United. We'll be going back to Edgeley Park after this corner's being taken, but it's a strong talking to actually between not just Tarkowski, also summoned was João Gomez. Arms open wide by Sean Dyche in his plain white shirt, always dressed very, very smartly. Ian Wone and Steve Stone just behind him as the corner waits to be taken on that far side. 0-0. In it comes now, swung over from the right, downward header at the far post. Onana, Tarkowski get a shot blocked. Podence can't clear it, still it bounces into the penalty area. Wolves can't get the ball away, and then eventually it's swept away by Dawson. as we go to Edgeley Park and Lee Blakeman.
It's ended 2-2 on aggregate. We're going to penalties. Salford thought they'd won it through Milan. Stretton equalised in the 115th minute with a header at the back post. It's been a remarkable game across the two ties, but penalties will decide which out of Stockport and Salford are going to be going to Wembley.
And I mentioned Dundee United. They're actually behind now at Livingston. Livingston 1, bottom of the table, Dundee United 0 is the latest score. You're listening to BBC Radio 5 Live. We're also live on the World Service. And if you want to go out and about, providing it's a pleasant afternoon, as pleasant as it is here at Molineux, then you can take us with you through BBC Sounds. Onana spins just outside the centre circle to Gay. McNeil collects the ball, looks for the run of Iwobi ahead of him. Calvert-Lewin is there on one bounce and through towards Daniel Bentley. But let's get an update from Anfield. Maz Faruqi.
Goalless here. Luis Diaz looking very bright in the early stages, though, giving that Villa defence something to think about. And they are living dangerously at times, Villa, trying to play out from the back. Still Liverpool 0, Villa 0 though.
Goalless here as well at Molineux. Semedo's overrun it. It was a heavy touch by McNeil. Semedo then gives it away towards Gay, opening on this near side, the left for Everton. Iwobi runs into that attack, vacated by Semedo, crosses the ball into the penalty area and hit too hard, and it bounced off the shins of Doucouré. Half time then in that Rugby League. Leeds Wigan, Matt Newsom.
Yeah, the holders of the Challenge Cup, Wigan Warriors, trailing in this one. Leeds Rhinos 14 points to 4 ahead. They flew into a 14 points to 0 lead. Tries from Tom Holroyd and Harry Newman, putting them into a comfortable position. Bevan French crossing just before the break, but the holders need to sort themselves out. Erastrewn, Leeds 14, Wigan 4.
Celtic have equalised. We'll bring you news of that goal. In fact, here she is, Connie.
Yeah, it didn't last too long, St Mirren's Leeds did it, to be honest. It was Kyogo on the edge of the box, right-footed shot into the back top left-hand corner of Trevor Carson's goal. A thing of absolute beauty, his 31st goal of the season. It's Celtic 1, St Mirren 1.
Thanks, Connie. Oh, that was a thunderous challenge by Adama Traore into Onana, and he's shown a yellow card from the referee, David Coote. He didn't half clatter into him.
Well, he does everything at pace, Traore, doesn't he? We know how quick he is there. He just loses possession. He's in full control of the ball. He just has a bad touch. Iwobi just nips it off him, and he goes flying at Onana there. The referee, it's right under his nose. The referee's seen it, but I think it was the pace of the tackle that made it look a lot worse. To be fair to Traore, both of his feet are still on the ground. He's just had a really bad touch and mistimed a tackle. It wasn't dangerous. Both of his feet are on the floor, but Onana's gone right up in the air, and he'll certainly feel that one.
And his body then would have jarred somewhat as he clattered into the lush green turf on this glorious day here at Molineux, and he's back, but not surprisingly he's walking. He's a little stiff. He's
a little gingerly after that tackle, but I think it's another one of these free kicks from Everton that we see from a deep area. It's something, having played for Sean, that I know he works on. Free kicks from a deep area, you look for your centre halves, they look to get second balls and create opportunities and set plays.
Well, McNeil takes it left-footed, swings it over. Tarkowski is up from the back as well. His header is headed out towards the left-hand side, towards Totti by Sarabia, and then that was quickly challenged by Garner, and it goes out of play for a throw. But as you say, your former manager, he'll be relatively content 18 minutes in, 0-0.
I think he'd be really pleased. I think the amount of times, or the lack of times, that we've talked about Jordan Pickford's involvement gives you an indication as to the way that the game's going. Everton have been comfortable in possession, they've been good going forward. Wolves are sitting deeper and deeper. I think with Traore on the right hand side against McNeil, it's an area that they'll be looking to exploit, but actually it's worked in Everton's favour because McNeil's been pushing Traore backwards.
Well, here is Garner on the opposite flank, the right, and he's got some support behind by Patterson, who plays the ball into Calvert-Lewin. That was a sharp turn, he wins a corner. We'll go to Fulham, Henry Moran.
17 minutes gone, Fulham 0, Palace 0, a game that's lacked quality, to be honest. Alexander Mitrovic on his first start since March, getting a whack in the nose after a clash from Addison. He's had to change his shirt, and that's pretty much the only note that I've got. Goalless after 17 minutes.
Earlier, Tottenham 1, Brentford 3 was the full-time score in North London. Manchester United are leading at Bournemouth by a goal to 0. No goals at Fulham, Anfield, and not here either at Molineux, although Everton have got another corner kick on that far side, the right. They're attacking the Stan Cullis stand, the old North Bank. For those of you who know your Molineux geography, the cross comes in and the referee's whistle had already been blown. I think he wants that corner to be retaken.
It's that pairing again at the far post. It's João Gomez on Tarkowski. We've seen Everton so many times this season use the height of Tarkowski around the back post, and he's a real threat. Quite a lot of Everton set plays are aimed at Tarkowski around the back post. Wolves have clearly worked on that. They've put João Gomez and another defender on him, and that's been the problem. That's what the referee's trying to sort out. And with VAR, João Gomez is he's riding a tight line here because they're still fighting.
Well, waiting to take the corner kick on that right-hand side, and it is swung over once again. The goalkeeper came towards his near post, didn't seem to get anything on that, but they're saying that there was a push. Let's get an update from Stockport. Lee.
One penalty each. Stockport lead 1-0. Salford missed through Lund. Stockport have scored through Madden. It's Salford's turn next.
Lee will keep us up to date. Lee Blakeman at Edgeley Park after extra time. Stockport County 2, Salford City 1, 2-2 on aggregate. That's the reason why it is gone to penalties. Carlisle United 0, Bradford City 1 was the score in the first leg, and that was a 3 o'clock kickoff at Brunton Park. Chris Coles will keep us up to date with the second semi-final as Bentley clears away downfield and then hammered down further field by Neves as it came back to him. That was an awkward bounce for McNeil, certainly suited Adama Traore. Sarabia passes the ball to Traore, who strikes the body of McNeil on the edge of the area, and Iwobi doubling up will clear it away for Everton.
They don't look like a team, Everton, that are in the bottom three and struggling, fighting for relegation, do they? They've shown real quality, they've shown patience on the ball, they've shown patience in possession, and the manager will be really pleased with the way that his team started. He's trying Dwight McNeil at left back today. It's obviously a huge change for him, but it's something that's worked well because he's worked up and down this touchline very well today.
And they've created opportunities in this first half as well. 7 goals in their last 2 away games at Leicester and Brighton. They'd scored 6 in their opening 12 on their travels. Back to Edgeley Park, Lee Blakeman.
Both teams have taken 2 penalties. It's still 1-0 to Stockport. Mariappa had his penalty save for Salford, and then Croasdale had his penalty save for Stockport as well. Still 1-0.
McNeil with a searching diagonal ball. Patterson, such an exciting player, the young Scottish international, keeps it in on that right-hand side, runs in field now, and then the ball given away by Decore straight to Toti, the left back. Penalty at Anfield, Maz Faruqi.
For Villa, Ollie Watkins won it, and he's now standing over the ball preparing to take this spot kick. He just gave the ball a little kiss before he put it down on the penalty spot. He was brought down by Canate on the left-hand side of the area as he made a run at pace forward, and he fires it wide on the right-hand post. You can hear the home fans cheer that one. He just misjudged it just wide of the right-hand post as Allison guessed the right direction as well. So Villa missed a penalty, still Liverpool 0, Villa 0.
So 0-0 it remains at Anfield as Iwobi clears the ball away. Just been diverted by a number of police officers who are running up in the section towards our right-hand side. As we go back to Stockport, Lee.
3 penalties taken each. It's 2-1 to Stockport. Barry's just scored for Salford, and then Collar followed up for the home team. 2-1 Stockport.
Thank you, Lee. That was a let-off then for Liverpool. Mentioned that scenario where a Manchester United win and a Liverpool defeat would give Manchester United and Newcastle assured Champions League football for next season, but it remains 0-0 at Anfield.
They've been good on the road as well, Villa, this year, haven't they, since Unai Emery's come in? He's been absolutely fantastic in the way that he's set his team up, how structured they are. It's not straightforward for Liverpool today, certainly isn't.
And we will be going to Brunton Park, I think, very, very soon. But in the meantime, we're going to go to Stockport, Lee Blakeman.
And we're going to have a bit of a wait because Salford have just missed through Milan, or more to the point, it was a good save from Hinchcliffe. So if Stockport score this next penalty, which is going to be taken by the former crewman Anthony Sarcevic, he's done the rounds in the EFL, then Stockport will be going to Wembley, puts the ball on the spot, walks back onto the 18-yard line. Big moment. It's all on Anthony Sarcevic. Up he steps with his right foot, blasted in, and Stockport County are going to Wembley. Fans invade the pitch from all sides at the end of one of the most dramatic playoffs you're likely to see. Stockport have won it 3-1 on penalties. Cue the pitch invasion.
And in the other semi-final, there's been a goal at Brunton Park. Chris Coles.
A goal for Carlisle to level the tie, scored by J.K. Gordon, back in the team following suspension, and back with a really important goal, tapping in after Harry Lewis made it initially. A good save. Carlisle 1, Bradford 0, 1-1 on aggregate.
Dundee United have just equalised. Livingston 1, bottom of the table. Dundee United 1. There's a player down on the far side. Whilst we were away getting all that action at League 2, Paul, it was a clumsy challenge by Totti on Calvert-Lewin on the edge of the area that certainly had the Everton bench looking towards the officials.
Yeah, he was lucky to get away with that. I mean, it was a long ball from Pickford, and both the back four of Wolves and Onana completely misjudged the ball and lost it in the sun. It ended up bouncing. Onana gets it through to Calvert-Lewin. Totti does well and gets his body across, but then as he's tackling him, he falls, and Calvert-Lewin falls over him as he's fallen. I think there's obviously no intent in it, but the referee's just seen it as a coming together of two players. But you're quite right, it was right on the edge of the box, and if it was given, I think we'd be VAR and drawing lines to see whether it was inside or outside.
Now, there's a stoppage in play at the moment. Patterson is the one down. He hasn't really been blessed at all with much good fortune since he arrived from Rangers, this talented right back, the Scottish international. He's had a knee injury this season, so it's good to actually see him back on his feet after receiving some treatment on that far side. It remains 0-0 here at Molineux between Wolves and Everton. No goals between Liverpool and Villa. Villa have missed a penalty. Fulham Crystal Palace is 0-0. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. Stockport County then, after knocking out Salford City on penalties, are going to Wembley. Carlisle United lead Bradford City by 1-0. That's 1-1 on aggregate. And in the Scottish Premiership, Celtic 1-1 at home to St Mirren. St Johnstone are ahead at Killie. Livy 1, Dundee United 1. No goals at Fir Park between Motherwell and Ross County, who are also threatened by relegation. Earlier, Hearts, looking to try and keep their European hopes alive, beat Aberdeen at Tynecastle by 2-1. Sarabia into the feet of Podence for Wolves, looking towards Semedo, tries to get round the back. McNeil again does well on defensive duties and now passes the ball towards Iwobi. Carries it over the halfway line for Everton. Royal blue shirts, white shorts in the shadows of the main stand. Now he goes infield, just outside the centre circle. Gaze, forward ball, Onana, plenty of space on that far side, the right for Patterson, and he finds him almost level with the penalty area. Delivers a low cross, blocked by Neves, comes to Garner, heads it back towards Patterson in front of the travelling support. Onana towards Garner, makes a run round the back, cuts it back. Onana unmarked. Onana with a chance to steady himself. He then makes it very, very hard in terms of the angle by taking 2 or 3 steps towards the byline. He at least wins a corner kick.
Does really well there, Patterson on the right hand side. The interchange with Onana cuts a great ball back to him on the edge of the box. I think Onana just does too much. I think you're just wanting to try and get your shot off. He's trying to beat the player, beat him again, get to the byline, when I think he should have just had a touch out of his feet and hit. But yet again, another set play for Everton. McNeil going across to take it.
We'll be going to Anfield in a moment. There has been a goal, I can tell you, between Liverpool and Aston Villa, but we've got a corner kick here in this vital game as far as relegation is concerned. Corner kick, far side the right. McNeil swings it over once again, and they were queuing up for that, and it was Mina. Just couldn't get over it. Over the top it goes. Goal at Anfield then, Maz Faruqi.
And it's gone for Villa. Remember, they missed a penalty a couple of minutes ago through Ollie Watkins. Jacob Ramsey, though, not picked up at all at the far post as the cross came in and went over top pretty much everyone. Simple tapping for him at the left-hand post. Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 1.
Well, that would be a news celebrated in Manchester United and also at Newcastle United. Now here, Everton are going to be making a change. Michael Keane is going to be coming on. He hasn't played in the last couple of games, but Patterson unable to continue. So Patterson has gone back down, and they're going to lose the right back. Whilst this change happens, Fulham Crystal Palace, Henry Moran.
It remains goalless. Surreal moment though, as Michael Elise decided he wanted to take off his undershirt. He took it off, then realised he had some defending to do, so he was charging down the touchline with neither of his shirts on, bare-chested, trying to chase down the Fulham attack. He then put his shirt back on the wrong way round. It's almost as if this game is between two sides that have secured mid-table safety.
Just approaching the half hour, Patterson coming off. That's going to affect Everton because he's been getting forward at every opportunity, the right back.
He's been really good going forward. Yeah, he's not had much defensive work to do, but going forward, overlapping around the outside of Garner. He's put a couple of good balls in. His interchange play with Onana has been excellent. He's been a real bright spark in the first start of this game. Now with Keane coming on, obviously a centre half, it's going to be interesting to see where he's going on. He's coming onto the field now, whether he goes across and plays right back. because if he does now, you've got a centre-half playing at right-back who's obviously not going to be as offensively strong as Patterson was.
And have you noticed as well, and I don't know whether this has just happened or whether it's happened before he was coming on, Adama Traore, who started off on this near side, the Wolves right, is now operating on the left.
That's what we spoke about before about Dwight McNeil. I think Dwight McNeil was obviously brought in as a left back by Sean Dyche, maybe to counteract Traore, but also to give Everton something going forward. And it's done that. Traore's obviously had no joy down this side against McNeil, so he's immediately switched and gone up against Michael Keane, who's a centre-half playing right back.
It's his 200th appearance for Everton today, and against Adama Traore, I hope he's got his running boots on. Here is Neves to Totti on that far side, the left. Adama Traore shovels the ball inside for Totti. Podence with his back to goal, looking to try and play it out towards Sarabia. Header away though by McNeil, falls back towards Sarabia, links up then with Podence. Sarabia tried to place it, that was blocked, and Garner passes the ball out of defence towards Decore. Decore up now to Calvert-Lewin, he's onside, but he's got to get past Collins and Dawson. He holds onto the ball and runs forward. Still 0-0 here at Molineux. Calvert-Lewin now delivers a ball in towards the far post, sliced up in the air by Totti. Onana was making the run in behind, and Daniel Bentley gathers that ball in. Let's get an update from Bournemouth. John Akers.
It's Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1 here. Ian, David De Gea has just made his first save of the game from Dominic Solanke. A really good effort inside the box, right-footed, firm hand though with his left hand. As things stand, of course, Manchester United guaranteed top 4 with Liverpool losing. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1.
And as are Newcastle United as well, ahead of their game against Leicester City on Monday night. Dawson now running forward. Made his debut against Liverpool for Wolves. Indeed, he scored that day, and he's played in every game since, has Craig Dawson. It's his 17th successive start. Making that darting run out towards that far side was Wang, dispossessed by Mina. Wang comes back at him, but then fouls Mina, and it will be a free kick. 14 minutes to go to half-time. It's become a little bit more even, would you say?
Wolves have grown into this game a little bit. Yeah, they've started to put the foot on the ball, keep a little bit more possession. Podence has come more and more into it. Neves is getting hold of the ball. Listen, Sean Dyche won't be disappointed the way that it's gone, but Lopetegui will, the way that his team has started, would have expected more from them. I think with shifting Traore over to the left-hand side, it's maybe given them a little bit more balance, and their ball retention has been a lot better.
Back in 2011, going into the final day, there were 5 sides within a point of each other. Blackburn were one of them. The final day, you were in goal for them. You won here on the last day.
We did, yeah. I think that's one of the years I did avoid relegation. Then I could keep another one off my CV.
But we could be going to the wire. Won't be as many as 5, but for Forest, Everton, Leeds United, and Leicester City, it is certainly tense. As we're going to go to Leeds, but it's the Rugby League, it's the Challenge Cup. Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Leeds 14, Wigan 10. Big start from the holders to the second half. Barely 50 seconds old when Liam Farrell was put through a huge gap. Bevan French on his shoulder, picks up his second try of the game, and they're back within 4 now, Wigan. Leeds 14, Wigan 10.
What's it like though as a player to be involved in a relegation battle when you're going down to the last day fighting for your future? It's horrible.
I mean, you get nervous before games, you get that feeling in your stomach, but before a relegation battle you know what's at stake, because it's not just you. You talk to players and you talk about families, you talk about players at the club, you talk about staff members at the club. What's on your shoulders is a lot of people's future. There's people who've worked at the club for years and years, and their future and their employment at times potentially rests on your shoulders. You saw what happened at Leeds United when we got relegated, the devastation of the 16-17 years that ensued. I mean, it has such a huge impact on not just you as a team, but you do feel it. You feel the weight of expectation and pressure of what you're carrying, not just for yourself, but for everybody involved in the club, the supporters even more so.
Well, Everton have certainly had some narrow escapes. Flirted, of course, with relegation to the penultimate game last season. Here is Iwobi. He goes square. Gay. What about the shot there, I think. It was then returned to him. They've lost the ball, and now all of a sudden they've left themselves vulnerable to the counter-attack. Adama Traore picks it up, running at the heart of the Everton defence. He shrugs off the challenge of Onana. Traore is still going. What a save by Pickford. Loose ball tucked in. Wolverhampton Wanderers take the lead, and Wang has scored for the first time in 22 starts for Wolverhampton Wanderers. But the damage was caused by a surging run of Traore. They were caught on the counter-attack, and Wolves lead Everton by 1-0.
Absolutely brilliant by Adama Traore. Everton are in comfortable possession in the final third. He picks the ball up 25 yards from his own goal. He runs the length of the field into the opposition's box. He leaves behind Onana, he leaves behind Gay, he leaves behind Tarkowski. He gets 12 yards out, a fantastic shot across goal. Jordan Pickford makes a brilliant save, to be fair to him. There's nothing else that he can do. Hwang with the easiest of tasks, but Traore runs the length of the field. Nobody touches him, nobody lays a glove on him. He leaves 5-6 Everton players behind him. Jordan Pickford makes a great save, and then Hwang with the simplest of tasks, but Traore, how quick.
Well, he must have picked up that ball, I don't know, certainly midway through his own half, even if a lot closer towards the penalty area.
He was just outside his own box, 5-6 yards outside his own box.
And then Onana tried to check him. He bounced off him. He never even checked the run of Traore.
It's one of those that needed what we call a tactical foul on the halfway line. You could see the pace he was gathering, you could see the trouble ahead of him. You know, Onana just needed to put in a foul on the halfway line, just check his run, just stop him, because once he was at the Everton back two that were left, there was only going to be one outcome.
And Hwang, whose 3 goals this season have all been as a substitute, has scored his first in 22 starts. There's been a goal now at Fulham. Henry Moran.
Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 1. Wonderful breakaway down the left-hand side. Odson Edouard released. He, in place of Wilfried Zaha today, fires into the top corner at the near post for his 7th of the season. Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 1.
And we talked before about the goal difference. Leeds and Everton now have identical goal difference in -25. Just a point between the two. Leeds United tomorrow, they're at West Ham United. It's the first of 2 commentaries as part of 5 Live Premier League Sunday from midday. They've lost the ball again, Everton. It was Onana. And now it's João Gomez who picks it up, drives it straight at Pickford. Podence with a looping ball onto the roof of the net from the header, and Pickford berates Onana. Stockport County are going to Wembley. They've beaten Salford City on penalties. Who will they face? The latest from Brunton Park, Chris Colt.
Still Carlisle 1, Bradford 0, 1-1 overall. Bradford having to weather a Carlisle storm though. The home side are dominating. They've just hit the post. Owen Moxon's header. The follow-up brilliantly saved by Harry Lewis. Carlisle 1, Bradford 0 as Carlisle go just wide. 1-1 overall.
We've had goals in every game in the Premier League. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1, Fulham 0, Crystal Palace 1, Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 1. Aston Villa have also missed a penalty. And here at Molineux, Wolverhampton Wanderers, 4 successive home wins since Leeds United incidentally won by 4 goals to 2 here. Their best run in the top division since 1975. And they haven't conceded a goal in over 6 hours of football as well at home. 1969 was the last time that they went with 5 clean sheets at home in the top division. But Everton have got to try and recover a little bit here.
They didn't start very well, either, did they? They didn't start particularly well, this Wolves side. Everton really did, started pressed high, had the opportunities with set plays. Calvert-Lewin had 2 or 3 really good chances earlier on in the game, but you've got to give Wolves credit the way that they've stuck at the game plan. They've changed Traore's wings. Neves, João Gomez have come into the game. They've slowly got more possession back and they've worked their way into this game.
Yes, they have, and they're leading through that goal from Hwang. 1-0 to Wolverhampton Wanderers. Totti at left back. João Gomez hits it early. Traore's given Michael Keane the slip once again on that far side, and Traore looking to wreak further damage with his sheer pace, enters the penalty area, and it's picked up by Pickford.
How quick is he? He's just left 3 Everton players in his wake. Michael Keane coming on, and as soon as he come on, he saw Traore to switch wings. He must have thought, this is the last thing that I need.
Well, he's actually stayed down on one knee just to the side of the goal over on that far side. Meanwhile, Everton looking to get the ball up towards Calvert-Lewin, and he gets there ahead of Dawson, plays it back. Certainly Michael Keane isn't getting as further forward as Patterson was before he left the field with that injury. Gay to Iwobi. Iwobi with a chance to shoot, places it though right-footed, and Bentley makes a comfortable save. Didn't really test the keeper enough.
No, simple for the goalkeeper. But what you were saying there, Ian, it could be a real story of this game. We talked about Dwight McNeil at left back and Traore on the right hand side, but then Patterson pushing on the other side. They had to change him. Michael Keane's come on, and immediately Traore's gone onto that left hand side, and he's caused him all kinds of problems. I mean, he breezed past him there like he wasn't there. Mina tried to step in, and he did exactly the same to him. His pace could be the key this afternoon.
Well, let's go racing to Newbury. John Hunt.
Beautiful afternoon here, and at the halfway stage in the Locking Stakes, the first major 1 mile race of the new racing season. And up the head of affairs is Mutasabek, who loves to front run. Brilliant horse at Newmarket. Can he prove himself here at a different track? In behind him is Chindic going well. My Prospero's under a bit of pressure. Dittori on Laurel makes a forward move now towards the far side with Jadumi, and they're then being followed through by Modern Games, the Globetrotter, who's starting to stay on. One of the outsiders, Check and Challenge, and Jumby, another one, is trying to get there as well, but now they race on deep inside the final furlong, and it's all systems go here for Chindic, who's come through to hit the front, chased now by Modern Games, who's finishing with a real flourish. Oh, Modern Games, he's such a classy horse, a Globetrotter, huge success rate, big win comes his way again. Modern Games it is who beats Chindic in second place, tight for third between Berkshire Shadow, My Prospero and Mutasabek in behind those. Big race win then for Modern Games, trainer Charlie Appleby in, and William Buick the rider.
Thank you, John. We'll get some reaction, reflection, certainly into Sports Report at 5 o'clock before our next commentary, Nottingham Forest Arsenal. Now, Neves, for what could be his final home game here at Molineux with a free kick, drives it into the wall, comes out to Dawson. João Gomes pushes the ball back into the centre circle. Wolves still leading by 1-0. Collins tries to place it out towards Semedo. Iwobi comes across, slides out of play, goes for a throw. Paul Robinson.
Yeah, there's been a real change in pattern in this game, hasn't there? Everton dominating the first 20-25 minutes. Wolves growing into this, and Adama Traore playing such a big part of that. Everton's sitting deeper and deeper, but they've got the ball on the break now.
Ball has been given away, goes straight to Calvert-Lewin. He runs forward, Calvert-Lewin, and then takes a tumble. He was fouled by Neves. Referee says it's a direct free kick. David Coote, fractionally right of centre, but it's 25 yards out from goal.
Really dangerous position. Calvert-Lewin does extremely well there, surrounded by 3 Wolves defenders. Neves just clips his heels as he's going through. This is a really dangerous area now. It's a set play. Sometimes you get free kicks and you say that they're too close and you can't get it up or down. This one is in ideal territory. Everton have got to capitalise on this, at least hit the target, make the goalkeeper work.
So Wolves are getting every gold shirt back behind the ball. Garner is the one who's actually placed it down. James Garner yet to score. In fact, he last scored a year ago for Nottingham Forest. Dwight McNeil is also having a look at it. They look like they're going to be the two candidates in the royal blue of Everton, looking for an equaliser. Wolves have everybody back inside their own box. There is can't see who he is through all the legs there, but there's somebody in the draft excluder role. But it's Garner with his right foot or McNeil with his left. Garner right-footed over the top, goal kick, and Everton still trail.
Oh, disappointing. A lot of work and effort and time on the training ground goes into these free kicks. He didn't even hit the target. I mean, that flew quite high and handsomely over the bar. Disappointing from an Everton point of view.
We'll get an update from Bournemouth then. John Akers.
Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. Casemiro with the goal for Manchester United, and he's just gone close again. A right foot shot 25 yards out, fizzed it. Good save low down to his left by Neto. United with the best chances, although Bournemouth have come into the game. It's Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1.
Yerry Mina to Gay. Didn't really run true towards him, did it, on the sticky surface? But there was a foul, and there'll be a free kick to Everton. The lowest scorers in the Premier League are Wolverhampton Wanderers. They've just scored their 31st this season, but I noticed that 8 of their 11 wins have been by a 1-goal margin.
It's an incredible stat. What also is an incredible stat when you think how many Haaland scored this year.
Yeah.
Himself more than quite a lot of teams.
Yeah. He's probably scored more with his left foot than some of those teams as well. Ball goes long towards Tarkowski, headed away by Collins. Sarabia eventually gets it back to Collins, who clears it away downfield, and Hwang will get the goal scorer a free kick, and he takes it quickly, and on the run was Semedo. Not for the first time, the ball has spun back rather than actually kicking on, and on this occasion it actually helped the Everton defenders, as Semedo now dispossesses Gay, who wins the ball inside the penalty area, and it's a good job he did, otherwise that would have been a penalty.
It looked like it could have been, but do you know what? I think that was a great tackle by Gay. He was in comfortable possession, tried to twist and turn on the edge of his box, got dispossessed, had to make the tackle, but timed it to perfection.
McNeil heads it away. Another goal at Celtic. Conor McLaughlin.
It's for St Mirren. Curtis Main with a second goal of the game for them. Celtic all over the place at the back, which will be a worry for them given the fact the Scottish Cup final is in just in a couple of weeks' time. Celtic 1, St Mirren 2.
We're approaching 60 seconds of normal time, and then we'll see how much added on time there will be. Of Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Everton 0 here on BBC Radio 5 Live in the World Service. Tarkowski. Certainly Everton's record of when conceding first this season hasn't been great. They've only won 1 of 20 when they've conceded first, and they've drawn 4 and lost 15, and they are behind in their penultimate game of the season. Bournemouth at home at Goodison next weekend. Leeds United, they're away at West Ham tomorrow. Then they've got Spurs at home. Leicester City travel to Newcastle on Monday, and then West Ham at home. Here is Onana looking for an equaliser to Calvert-Lewin, and it runs all the way through to Daniel Bentley. Forest, you'll hear their next game at home to Arsenal at 5:30 on 5 Live. They travel to Selhurst Park next Sunday on the final day.
Calvert-Lewin's just gone down.
Oh, now this is a concern. Calvert-Lewin has just gone down. He's sat down and he's got his head in his hands, and straight away you sense that he knows that there's been a recurrence of that groin problem.
Well, it was a through ball that Onana just tried to play to him. He was just on Collins' shoulder. Quite a straightforward run. He accelerates onto the end of the pass, and then the ball goes out for a goal kick, and then we turn around. Calvert-Lewin sat inside the 18-yard area with his hands on his head.
4 minutes of added on time, which we're now into, and Calvert-Lewin, well, already they're getting the substitute ready. I don't think they're going to take a chance with Calvert-Lewin with that game against Bournemouth next weekend. We'll find out after we've gone and taken you to Leeds Wigan in the Challenge Cup. Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Wigan have scored 14 unanswered points to level things up here. Leeds 14, Wigan 14. It was a try from Junior and Samba, steaming through a huge hole, and unfortunately Harry Smith unable to add the extras, so we're all square here. Finally poised, 25 to go, 14 apiece.
Yeah, they're not taking any risks whatsoever with Calvert-Lewin, so as last week, he's going to be coming a straight off. Damari Gray is the player who's coming on it, but he's walking extremely gingerly.
He was obviously going to be a risk for today. We weren't privy to the information as to why he came off last week and to how serious his injury was. But now this doesn't look good for Everton for the last game of the season. You could tell from Calvert-Lewin's reaction as soon as he turned round. He sat there with his head in his hands. He was distraught. He's walking off now, limping off underneath us. And that's a huge blow for Everton at this stage of the game. You see him with he looks so distraught down here.
Well, he's going to go straight down the tunnel. He's had this tight groin. As play is back underway, Damari Gray replaces Calvert-Lewin, and Everton will just hope that Calvert-Lewin can be fit for next week's home game against Bournemouth. Bentley clears away. Damari Gray has come on. Of course, he's missed 4 months with a muscle injury this season, missed another 9 games with a hamstring injury. It really has been a season to forget for Calvert-Lewin. Gray is on for him. We're into stoppage time. Let's get an update from Liverpool Aston Villa. Maz Faruqi.
Still trailing Liverpool, and Cody Gakpo has been down for quite some time now, requiring some treatment. There was actually a VAR assessment of a possible red card for Tyrone Mings. A high boot at Gakpo, a VAR check over saying no red card, but Gakpo now back on his feet, just changing his jersey. Liverpool still trailing 1-0, and we're into stoppage time here as well.
Kilmarnock trailing at home to St Johnstone are down to 10 men. David Watson has been sent off at Rugby Park. That went out of play. It will be an Everton throw. Everton started with purpose. It was an encouraging start. They had momentum, but as the game has wore on, not helped by a couple of injuries and the goal that they've conceded, they've just lost their way a little.
Listen, it's been a really disappointing 45 minutes now when you stand back and look at it for Sean Dyche. One of his best attacking threats, Patterson on the right hand side, has had to come off. He's lost Calvert-Lewin and his team are 1-0 down. You have to give Lopetegui and Wolves a lot of credit, though. They didn't start the game particularly well, but he made a change. He put Traore over to the left-hand side onto Michael Keane. He dropped Sarabia a little bit deeper onto this right-hand side to push back McNeil. So his tactical changes have pushed back the Everton fullbacks, and they've really grown into this game, Wolves. Everton, from having such a good start to losing 2 key players, have got it all to do now.
And notice he's changed them again. Traore is switched back out to this near side, the right, and here he is now on the edge of the area. Adama Traore, who got the assist for the first goal, pulls it back to Neves, scooped away then by Hwang. Semedo joins the attack. Adama Traore waits for the ball to reach him, up against McNeil, does 2-3 step overs, down towards the byline, stands over the cross towards the far post. Keane heads it away, only as far as Podence, looking to try and get the shot away. Podence on the edge of the area, still gets it away right-footed, but he's dragged it wide, 2 feet wide of the left-hand post, out for a goal kick. In stoppage time, Wolves still lead 1-0.
Yeah, they're looking for this half-time whistle now, Everton. They're kind of looking around, looking for some direction. Players drop shoulders, getting up to the halfway line. Jordan Pickford's going to kick this long. The conversation between Jordan Pickford and his defenders, it's been there the whole game, but when the goal went in, you could see the criticism, you could see the blame culture coming in, and that's something that they don't need. They need togetherness, they need conversation, they need camaraderie, not criticism around. It's going to be a big 45 minutes for this Everton side now.
Yes, it most certainly is. They've just been awarded a free kick by my watch, the 4 minutes. In fact, that's a yellow card shown to Dawson from David Coote. It's a free kick that, in many ways, the set pieces is where that Sean Dyche will hope that Everton are able to prosper from. This is bound to be the last bit of action in the first half. They're trailing by a goal to nil, and they've got some big targets to aim for on the edge of the penalty area. Decore, Mina's gone forward, Onana is also there. Yes, they're missing Calvert-Lewin, but Tarkowski's another one. Michael Keane's in there too. McNeil hits it, hangs in the air, headed out by Dawson, comes out towards Iwobi, passes the ball back. The Wolves bench are complaining, asking for that half-time whistle to be sounded, and there indeed it is. It's 1-0 to Wolves, and we'll go to Craven Cottage where there's a penalty. Henry Moran.
Deep in added time in the first half, Alexander Mitrovic with a chance to level things up for Fulham. Ball on the spot, he steps forward now, right-footed and scores. Blasted into the roof of the net, and Fulham have got the equaliser right at the end of the first half. It's Fulham 1, Palace 1.
Thank you, Henry. So half-time here at Molineux. What are your thoughts, Paul Robinson?
I think the first 20-25 minutes belonged to Everton. I was really encouraged by the way that they started. They dominated possession, and they didn't look like a team that were in the bottom three. They were pushing forward with Patterson down the right-hand side. McNeil, playing an unfamiliar left-back, was forcing Traore back. But then Lopetegui changed it. He put Traore onto the left-hand side. Michael Keane then had to come on for Patterson, and then unfortunately for Everton, Calvert-Lewin's had to go off, and they've lost their figurehead, their striker, which they crave so much for. And I think from starting the game so well to almost begging for the half-time whistle, Sean Dyche needs to get his team in there at half-time, needs to reorganise them, needs to refocus them, and it's about getting something out of this game now. They need to come back in and try and take something away from Molineux, because Wolves have done extremely well to grow back and come back into this game.
What a next 45 minutes await here in the second half at Molineux. Half-time then, it's Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Everton 0.
Thank you very much, guys. And those three little words, as it stands down the bottom of the Premier League, Everton 17th position, a point above Leeds and Leicester. But if it were to stay like this, both of those teams could go above them over the course of the next 48 hours. At the other end of the table, as it stands, Manchester United on their way to securing Champions League football. It's half-time at Bournemouth. John Akers.
Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. Casemiro in the 9th minute. All happened in a flash. Acrobatic and brilliant from Casemiro. It was Eriksson with a little dinked ball into the penalty area. Senesi got a foot to it, but it just meant it went straight up in the air. Casemiro reacted really well. A flying volley from 4 or 5 yards out into the roof of the net. Neto with absolutely no chance. Manchester United have been the better team. Casemiro's had a drive saved by Neto as well. Bournemouth, 2 chances, both for Solanke, 1 saved by De Gea and 1 a header that looped over. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1 at half-time.
So Manchester United on course to secure the top 4 today, as of course are Newcastle United, and that's partly down to what's happening at Anfield, still playing in the first half. Maz Faruqi.
They are, Steve, we are still playing here. Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 1, and that's because we've had 2 VAR checks in first half stoppage time. The first for a possible red card, Mings for a high boot on Cody Gakpo, and then a possible penalty for Liverpool. Henderson brought down by Douglas Luiz. Neither decision given though, and we are still playing. Those should be in the final few seconds of this first half. Liverpool 0, Villa 1.
And away from all the jeopardy, it's half-time at Craven Cottage. Henry Moran.
Well, the score is Fulham 1, Palace 1. Mitrovic's added time penalty drawing the host level. Harry Wilson drawing the foul from Tyrick Mitchell, allowing Mitrovic, who's making his first start since that 8-game ban, to fire home past Johnston. Palace's goal was a fine move. Eze breaking over the halfway line, releasing Edouard on the left-hand side. He fired in at the near post past Leno, and it looked as though that would give Palace the half-time lead. Roy Hodgson will be frustrated. They've been equally as good in this first half, Palace. They had the lead, but they gave it away thanks to that penalty to allow Mitrovic to fire home. Fulham 1, Palace 1.
Stockport County will go to Wembley for the League 2 playoff final after they beat Salford on penalties at Edgeley Park. They'll play either Carlisle or Bradford. It's half-time in that one right now. Chris Coles.
Yes, and we're level 1-1 on aggregate. Carlisle 1, Bradford 0 on the day. This game mirroring the first leg with the home side on top. Carlisle getting the goal they needed to level the tie. J.K. Gordon reinstated following his return from suspension. A justified selection, reacting the quickest to capitalise on a loose ball in the area. Carlisle have also hit a post and tested Harry Lewis in the Bradford goal on several occasions. The visitors have offered sporadic threats. They too hit the post through Scott Banks, but spent the majority of the first 45 minutes defending inside their own half. Carlisle 1, Bradford 0. We're level at 1-1 on aggregate.
Whistle at Anfield. Maz.
It is half-time and it is Liverpool 0, Villa 1. Villa perhaps could and should though be further ahead. The goal scored by Jacob Ramsey half an hour in after he wasn't picked up at the far post, but 5 minutes or so before that, Ollie Watkins stepped up to take the penalty. He himself won after he was brought down by Konate, but sent it wide of Alisson's left post. Ramsey then forced a decent low block from the Liverpool keeper as well. The move won straight from the training ground. He beat the offside trap as the ball was fed direct to him 6 yards out from a free kick. Liverpool haven't had a shot on target. They did have a VAR check for a possible penalty, as I mentioned, in first half stoppage time, but words then for Jurgen Klopp, who raced down from the stands. Remember, he has a touchline ban for this game today. Lots of words for him to have with his players at half time. They trail 1-0 here to Villa.
Hearts in possession as it stands of a place in European football next season after they beat Aberdeen 2-1 earlier, but St Mirren are still interested below them and they could cause a shock at Celtic. Connie McLaughlin.
They could, and they just might, because as it stands right now, it's Celtic 1, St Mirren 2. It was Curtis Main who opened the scoring after some really defensive naivety from Iwata, but Kyogo cancelled that out with a cracking right-footed strike. Steve, his 31st of the season, but then it happened again just before the break. Curtis Main put Saints ahead, meaning their European hopes, as you rightly say, still alive. But from a Celtic perspective, no Cameron Carter-Vickers or Alistair Johnston. We mean some real defensive concerns for Ange Postecoglou ahead of that cup final on the 3rd of June. At half-time, it's Celtic 1, St Mirren 2.
Other scores then at half-time in Scotland are all in the relegation group. Kilmarnock 0, St Johnstone 1. That would mean that Kilmarnock would be second bottom of the table with 2 games to go. That would take them into a relegation playoff at the end of the season. Dundee United, bottom of the league, 2 points below them, currently drawing 1-1 at Livingston at half-time. And it is Motherwell 0, Ross County 0. That would be enough to take Ross County out of the bottom 2. And in League 2, possibly a big story for Albion Rovers and Spartans. They are playing in the relegation playoff final right now. Spartans lead by a 0-0. That's Spartans of the Lowland League, who have never been in the Scottish Football League. They lead 2-1 on aggregate as it stands. Their manager, Dougie Samuel, has been there for 10 years. They call him Mr. Spartan, and he's 45 minutes away from making history with them. Still time for Albion Rovers to change that. Challenge Cup Rugby, Leeds Rhinos, Wigan Warriors. Matt Newson.
14 minutes to go and Wigan lead for the first time in the game. Jake Wardle going over on this left-hand side. The Wigan pressure maybe just starting to tell. The holders keeping a clinch of their crown. Leeds need to get reset. They trail in this one. Leeds 14, Wigan 18.
And you are up to date. We'll be back with more after the news on 5 Live with Alison Hughes.
Listen on BBC Sounds. This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
In the past hour, it's been announced that Philip Schofield has agreed to step down from the ITV show this morning with immediate effect. If full of speculation, the presenter had fallen out with his co-host Holly Willoughby. Mr. Schofield, who's been on the show for more than 2 decades, said he was leaving to protect the show he loved. Yesterday, the host's brother, Timothy Schofield, was jailed for child sex offences. Russia is accusing the West of escalation after the US agreed to let countries supply Ukraine with American-made F-16 fighter jets. Kyiv has been asking allies for advanced jets to help it turn the tide of the Russian invasion. Meanwhile, Ukraine has denied claims by the mercenary group Wagner that Russia is now in full control of Bakhmut in eastern Ukraine. The battle for the city has been one of the longest and most deadly of the war so far. Ukrainian officials say heavy fighting is still going on in the city and the situation is critical. And Sinn Féin's leader at Stormont, Michelle O'Neill, says her party's on course for momentous results after Thursday's local elections in Northern Ireland. Counting is still underway, but Sinn Féin appears set to become the largest party in local government in Northern Ireland for the first time.
BBC 5 Live.
Association football. 2 teams of 11 players. A game of 2 halves.
He scores! Shot is driven in! Right foot flashes into the net!
The finale. The coming of an end.
What a huge moment this is.
Will you get drama?
Here he comes. Oh, he saved it!
Winning. All that matters.
Great chance in! We thought their name was on the trophy. Well, it is now.
It all comes down to now. The culmination of the Premier League, the FA Cup final, the Champions League. Follow it all with 5 Live and BBC Sounds.
This is 5 Live Sport with Steve Crossman.
It is Wolves 1, Everton 0, half-time in our Premier League commentary on 5 Live this afternoon. Everton's 17th place in the Premier League table. Remember, earlier this afternoon, Tottenham were beaten 3-1 at home by Brentford. Afterwards, Harry Kane waved at the crowd as the players acknowledged the fans at the end of their final home game of the season. But Ryan Mason's reading nothing into it.
No, he waves at the crowd every season. I remember sitting here 2 years ago and you guys were convinced he was leaving, saying the same thing. It's the last home game of the season, so he wants to show his appreciation to the support that he's received and we've all received this season.
With 1 game left to go, the Brentford boss Thomas Frank is reflecting on an amazing season.
It's in many ways unbelievable what we have achieved so far this season. Hopefully there's a bit more. Maybe we can push it for the last day and go into Europe, but just a top 10 finish secured, maybe 9th, 8th, we don't know. That's unbelievable. But good owner, good leaders, fantastic staff, fantastic players, and we're all aligned and we work in the same direction. And then you can create wonders with a small club like ours.
You're still in the hunt for Europe. The season's got 1 more game to go, which is incredible for you, isn't it, this stage of the season?
Yeah, definitely. We have an opportunity to go for that, and we will. We know there's a few results that need to go our way, but hey, we'll go for the opportunity.
You know, though, in the summer there'll be takers, there'll be vultures looking for some of your players. Interested in Ray, your goalkeeper, who was super today. How important is it for you to keep this group together and also build in the summer?
Oh, unbelievable. We want to keep the group together and we want to build. So the only one who's for sale is Raya. The rest are not for sale.
The Brentford boss, Thomas Frank. It's a double header at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium this afternoon. It's also Spurs women facing Reading, with relegation looming potentially for the visitors. They'll go down this weekend if they lose and Leicester claim all 3 points. Mike Williams.
I'd say a good few thousand fans have stuck around here to watch this Women's Super League match, which, as you say, Steve, is massive for Spurs. Very simple, really. They know a win this afternoon against the bottom side will secure their status for another year. But both of these clubs very low on confidence. Spurs without a win in 5 and were comfortably beaten by Manchester United last time out, whilst Reading have lost 4 on the spin and got thrashed 5-0 by Aston Villa in their last match. Spurs make 4 changes today, one of them in goal, Rebecca Spencer coming in. Ashley Neville also returns to captain the side today. If Reading do go down this season, Steve, they will have the unenviable accolade of having both their men's and women's teams relegated in the same season.
Thank you very much. At Leicester, by the way, play West Ham tomorrow. So lots going on there down at the bottom, as well as the top, of course, of the Women's Super League. Let's go back to Newbury. John Hunt.
Yes, Modern Games, fresh from his win in the Locking Stakes. His trainer, Charlie Appleby, has just paid tribute to this horse, winning his 5th top-level Group 1 race. He's won big races in France, Canada, and last year in America as well. And what a start to his season. He's surely Royal Ascot bound. Frankie Dettori out of luck there on Laurel, but he did win the day's other big race. Haskoy, winner of the Aston Park Stakes, and she now heads with Dettori on board to the Ascot Gold Cup in a month's time.
We're about 45 minutes away from kick-off in Rugby Union's Champions Cup final. What a fantastic contest this could be. It's Leinster, La Rochelle. Chris Jones.
Over 50,000 expected capacity crowd here at the Aviva, and it is filling up nicely all around me. The blue of Leinster, but loads of pockets of yellow from La Rochelle, this little town on the west coast of France. Just 75,000 people in it have turned themselves under Ronan O'Gara into European heavyweights.
finalists in 2021, winners in 2022, and can they come and deny Leinster once more here today? Stuart Lancaster's last game for Leinster. Johnny Sexton will be watching on, his last kind of involvement, even though he's injured. And can they cap this legacy, this long-running dominance Leinster have had with another Champions Cup, given they haven't won it in 5 years? It is set up absolutely spectacularly with Ronan O'Gara, the man of Munster, trying once again to unpick this Leinster machine. All set up fantastically for 4:45.
Yeah, he's described it, Ronan O'Gara, as stepping into the lion's den, and he's not wrong.
No, he's not. It might not be as febrile an atmosphere as maybe Leinster got in Marseille last year, or I don't know, Exeter got at the Stade Mahmoud in Bordeaux in the semi-final, but it will be tough. Leinster's record here is phenomenal, even though they lost last week to Munster in the URC, and so many of these Leinster players are looking to cap off a miraculous season for Irish rugby with that winning tour of New Zealand, unbeaten in the autumn, and of course the Grand Slam here at the back end of March. But Ronan O'Gara would love nothing more, you imagine, to once again deny Leinster his old adversaries as a Munsterman. But even though he left a player as a Munster player, he's very much returning as a coach of the world, a man who is destined for very high international coaching honours, you would imagine, even though for now it's about him adding another star to La Rochelle as Leinster go and try and win their 5th Champions Cup, which only Toulouse have done before. So as you say, Steve, it's set up very nicely indeed.
And you can hear live commentary on 5 Sports Extra, as I say, kick-off 4:45, Leinster La Rochelle in the final of the Champions Cup. Premier League games about to get back underway. The teams are out at Molineux. Everton behind, and they have lost Dominic Calvert-Lewin, a huge 45 minutes in their season. Paul Robinson is with Ian Dennis.
Yeah, they also lost Nathan Patterson at right back, so there were 2 really setbacks for Everton in terms of injuries affecting the dynamic and the balance of the side, certainly as an attacking team, because Patterson had enjoyed a good start, so they've had to make a couple of changes. So we've had Michael Keane come on, and we've had Damari Gray come on. And also, it means as well, as they haven't made an alteration as the game restarts, they've only got one more opportunity to utilise the 3 substitutions that remain. So we're back underway, it's tight at the bottom, and Wolverhampton Wanderers are leading Everton by a 1-0. It's so tight that if Leeds United were to pick up a point tomorrow at West Ham, Leeds United would be out of the relegation zone as it stands. So there's a lot to play for as Wolverhampton Wanderers, who, remember, were bottom on Christmas Day. I don't think it's necessarily a fair reflection to say they'll be the 4th side to survive after being bottom at Christmas, as because of the World Cup they only had 10 points from 15 games on Christmas Day, but nevertheless they have hauled themselves to safety. And so Julian Lopetegui, with his 6 changes that he made today, is certainly planning with one eye on next season. Daniel Bentley is in goal. Semedo, Dawson, Collins and Tote. The defence, the midfield of Neves, João Gomez, Podence, Sarabia, Traore and Hwang, as they play in their gold shirts and black shorts. And in the second half, they're playing from right to left as we look, so they're attacking the Stan Cullis stand away towards our left-hand side. Everton then, with their royal blue shirts and white shorts, Pickford in goal, a back 4 now of Keane at right back, Tarkowski and Mina as the 2 central defenders, Dwight McNeil as the left back, a midfield of Iwobi, Onana, Doucouré, Gay and Garner, and Damari Gray is the player up front as Calvert-Lewin leaving the field with a recurrence of what we can only imagine is that groin injury. As Onana comes forward, the referee gets involved. It's going to be an uncontested drop ball here from referee David Coote. And let's get the early thoughts of Paul Robinson, who's sat alongside us here at Molineux.
Going to be a difficult second half for Everton. They've lost Calvert-Lewin, we know how important he is to them, and Patterson, who's doing so well in the first half. But you've got to look at Lopetegui's in-game management. He's been excellent the way that he's utilised Traore, Sarabia, Podence. He's moved them about and he's caused Everton all kinds of problems. Since Michael Keane's come on, he's had to come on for Patterson at right back. They've got a centre-half playing at right back. Immediately Lopetegui spots that, brings Traore over to this near side, and in the second half Sean Dyche has actually got Garner sitting in almost a wing-back position when Traore is on this right-hand side. So both managers have had to change in games. Everton enforced due to injuries. System stays the same. Wolves' system stays the same, but the personnel rotates, and Lopetegui's done that really well.
And there'll be concern on the bench for Sean Dyche now, because Onana has actually stayed down. So we'll wait to see whether they're forced to make a third and what would be a final change or whether he's able to shake it off. So a stoppage early on in the second half as Wolves lead by 1-0. Craven Cottage, Fulham Palace, Henry Moran.
Still 1 goal apiece, but Alexander Mitrovic should have his second of the afternoon. The ball across goal from Harrison Reed was a good one. He was waiting at the back post, Mitrovic. Somehow he missed that back post, and it remains 1-1.
Now Liverpool are trailing at home to Aston Villa by 1-0, which could mean that both Newcastle United and Manchester United today clinch Champions League football for next season. Manchester United, they're at Bournemouth. John Akers.
Yeah, this will do for United at the moment. They've just won a corner as well. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. Casemiro. Bournemouth have had the best chance of the second half. Brooks, a left foot shot saved above his head by De Gea. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1.
Play is back underway. It's an uncontested drop ball in favour of Everton, and Onana is hobbling badly, but at least is back on the field of play for Everton as they trail by 1-0, which will certainly be offering a little bit of encouragement to Leeds United and to Leicester and to Nottingham Forest as well. That will be an absolutely electric atmosphere at the City Ground for Nottingham Forest against Arsenal. And after Sports Report, you'll hear it here on BBC Radio 5 Live at 5:30.
Looking forward to listening to that one in the car on the way home, Dan. I really am. Should be a cracking game. We know what a fortress the City Ground has been all season, and the atmosphere will certainly come through on the airwaves this afternoon against an Arsenal side who are going to be deflated after last week's defeat against Brighton. Potential title over, but Forest have got everything to play for, knowing that one win could keep them in the Premier League.
I was at the City Ground for the visit of Manchester City earlier in the season. Spine-tingling was the City Ground, certainly, as McNeil waits to take a free kick for Everton. It's high, it drifts. Mina gets his head onto it, and Keane tries to stab it goalwards, and Bentley at the second attempt dives on the ball inside the 6-yard area. He had a couple of nibbles at it.
Yeah, he gets lucky there, Bentley. I don't think he really knew where the ball was. It was a deep free kick into McNeil. Michael Keane had a real opportunity, swung at it, didn't make a connection. It hit the goalkeeper's back, and lucky enough for him, he kind of rolled over and it was underneath him.
Ball is given away. Everton now have it. Gay, Doucouré, back with Gay once again. Out it goes, and then he was caught. The referee will give a free kick. A number of Wolves players protest. Semedo is shown a yellow card for that challenge from David Cook, and the Wolves right back is booked.
I think he's booked as much for his reaction as when the free kick was given as for the tackle. I mean, I hate to see that when players get up and berate the referee so often. I mean, it wasn't just him, there was 2 or 3 other players, and it's a side of the game that we need to see stopped. And I think if referees do start giving out bookings and yellow cards for it, we'll soon see it stopped very quickly.
Yeah, he threw his arms, didn't he, in disgust at the direction of David Cook, the referee. Free kick to Everton, left of the centre circle as they play from left to right as we look. BBC Radio 5 Live. Neil Maupay warming up away towards our left-hand side. He's currently experiencing his longest goal drought in English football as Pickford hits the ball away downfield, headed away by Traoré. Garner tries to win it back for Everton, and Hwang, the goal scorer, his first goal and his 22nd start for Wolves is the difference between the two sides, goes out of play. It will be a Wolves throw-in. Full time now in the Challenge Cup at Leeds, Matt Newsom.
Yeah, Wigan's defence of the Challenge Cup will move on to the quarter-finals. They've won here at Leeds, Headingley, by 18 points to 14. Having trailed 14-0 just before the break, they've put on 18 unanswered points to seal their place in the last 8. Leeds Rhinos 14, Wigan 18.
Switching codes, the Rugby Union Champions Cup final, Leinster against La Rochelle, is live on Sports Extra at 4:45 later this afternoon. This is the Premier League. This is BBC Radio 5 Live, also available on BBC Sounds. And Everton are trailing by 1-0 as Damari Gray, the substitute, back towards Yerry Mina. Mina to Michael Keane. Garner is ahead of him. Diagonal ball towards Doucouré. Keane now coming forward from his right back role to Damari Gray. Back towards Keane. Keane looking for a way through. No way through. And Totti slides and clears the ball out of play. It goes for a throw.
They've protected him in this second half, Michael Keane. An unfamiliar role for him at right back, but Sean Dyche has sat Garner in front of him just to try and stop that attacking threat of Traoré in the second half, and it's worked thus far.
Here is Iwobi, opens up for Iwobi, and he shoots, and Bentley onto his toes, makes the save around head height and just pats it down.
Yeah, comfortable save for the goalkeeper, but an area of possession that Everton will be pleased. They'll be looking to have more and more possession in this final third.
That's Dawson. Neves takes over. What a signing he was from Porto 6 years ago, just under £16 million, over 250 appearances, and although he's under contract till 2024, it'll be telling at the final whistle to see the reaction to Ruben Neves. Been linked with a host of Premier League clubs and also top sides on the continent, as Adama Traore takes a tumble, and he is the one who was adjudged to have fouled Ghana. Remember, Adama Traore was booked in the first half. He can't show any dissent to referee David Coote, as Wolves are going to be making a change. He
does really well there, Ghana. He knows that he's not got the pace of Traore. He just puts himself between the player and the ball, and Traore just catches him. It's just a clip of the heels, but Ghana's body position and where he put himself is what won him the free kick.
41 caps for his country. Paul Robinson, the former England keeper, with us here at Molineux this afternoon for this vital game down at the bottom of the table. And it's Wolverhampton Wanderers who are leading by a goal to nil, approaching 7 hours of football since they last conceded here at Molineux in the top flight, as Neves, running forward, enters the penalty area on the follow-through. Neves has gone down, Mina has gone down, Neves catching him, and the referee giving a free kick once again to the away side.
I wish I knew what that felt like then. Over 7.5 hours without conceding. I might have got a few more caps if I could have done that.
Yeah, but you've done something that many goalkeepers can't do, and that's pop up with a goal or two.
No, that's actually quite funny. Everything that I've done and achieved in my career as a goalkeeper, all anyone wants to talk to me about is 2 goals I scored, which I don't mind.
Yeah. Header against Swindon was one of them, wasn't it?
Yeah, and a lucky punt downfield for Tottenham.
Yeah. Neves just catching the top of the foot of Mina. It was a foul spotted by the referee David Coote. Free kick to Everton. So in the top flight, Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. The result earlier, by the way, was Tottenham 1, Brentford 3. It keeps alive Brentford's outside hopes of maybe European football, because 7th would bring European football. Liverpool, of course, their Champions League hopes are taking a real dent at the minute. They're trailing at home to Aston Villa. Fulham 1, Palace 1. Manchester United and Newcastle can seal Champions League qualification today as it stands. But we're going to Anfield now. Maz Faruqi.
Liverpool still trailing by that goal to nil, that goal from Jacob Ramsey. First subs of this match are about to be made. Moreno and Ashley Young coming on for Aston Villa, and you can imagine the reception the former United player is getting here. Still Liverpool 0, Villa 1.
Pickford clears it away. Wolves lead by a goal to nil. Now it's with Totti. And Mina is able to continue. Just outside the centre circle of his own half is João Gomez, the midfielder, taking his tally into double figures since they signed him for £15 million, the Brazilian. Tarkowski though for Everton. Forward ball. Iwobi sent away, and it's gone away from Iwobi, much to the frustration of the Everton supporters on that far side. So Wolves looking for a 4th successive win against Everton, and Everton's fate will go right the way to the final Sunday, where they're at home to Bournemouth, and then just hope for maybe a favour or two from West Ham tomorrow and Newcastle on Monday night, against the 2 sides that currently lie in the relegation zone, respectively Leeds United and Leicester City. Back it goes to Bentley, pulls it out to Totti, chased after is Iwobi. Forward ball to Podence, the little back heel. João Gomez now finds Sarabia running into space outside the centre circle, midway through the Everton half. Wang has made the run into the inside left channel, plays the ball out to Traore. He stays out wide. Traore now on this left hand side. Podence lets it run through. Cries of shoot for Neves. Boy, they'd love a goal from Ruben Neves. Semedo will let one fly from distance over the top.
Was never going to beat Jordan Pickford from there. Good possession from Wolves, just in front of the Everton back 4. Passed around, played it across the front of the box into Semedo. Strikes from distance. Never going to trouble Jordan Pickford.
Looked like they were thinking of a change, but they've altered that, have Wolves, for the time being. They're resisting that temptation. Julian Lopetegui, who really has done an excellent job since he took over for Wolverhampton Wanderers. They've won 9 of 21 in the Premier League. They'd only won 2 of the previous 22.
did incredibly well to get a manager of that calibre. You look at his CV, you look at what he's done in the past, and for Wolves to be able to entice a manager of that quality to Wolverhampton in the Premier League is a real coup. I think keeping him will be their biggest problem.
Sarabia cut out by Michael Keane. Now there's been a goal at Anfield. Maz Faruqi.
Equaliser, Cody Gakpo, not the prettiest of goals he scored. Villa failed to clear their area. There was a goal line clearance as well from a shot from Konate, but it came back to Gakpo and he's rifled in the equaliser. Liverpool won, Villa won, but we are just having a VAR check, so I'll keep you posted.
OK, Damari Gray meanwhile has just sent over a cross from the right that went all the way across the face of goal. McNeil sends it back in from that far side to left, and it's caught by Daniel Bentley.
What a chance that was, Deno, for Everton. Dwight McNeil just here on this near side, he goes to whip it in, but he kind of does a double movement. He kicks it against his left foot and it ends up whizzing across the face of the Wolves goal from 2 yards out. It deceived everybody, Alexander Iwobi included.
They've switched to a 3 now, haven't they? They've got Tarkowski, Mina and Michael Keane, and Garner.
They've got Garner dropping deep on this right hand side to protect Michael Keane from Traore.
Yeah.
But once again Traore's on the move.
And McNeil then is operating now as a left wing back. Iwobi's gone more central as Damari Gray has drifted out towards the right hand side, so Everton are trying to just change things a little bit. Meanwhile, Adama Traore and Garner trying to double up on him, but Traore runs in field and he passes the ball now, and this is Sarabia. Sarabia tries to curl it and places it just wide. Real chance for Wolves. They still lead by a goal to nil, but it's a goal kick to Everton.
Oh, what a goal that would have been, and it's that man Traore again. We speak so much about his pace, and we talk about what Everton are doing to counter-attack that with Garner and Michael Keane on this side. Traore picks the ball up and he runs at both of them. There's nothing they can do with his pace. Plays it across the box, and they're so unlucky with that strike.
There was a scenario that for both Nottingham Forest and Everton today, they could be safe. Nottingham Forest might well be able to get safety this weekend. A lot will depend, of course, on how they fare at 5:30. Commentary coming up after Sports Report on 5 Live. But for Everton, the hope and the nerves and the fears and every other emotion that a football fan goes through at this stage of the season is going to be extended for yet another week. And that hope and that weight can sometimes be a miserable, miserable weight. As the ball is in now to Semedo, and Semedo with a shot, and he's put it just wide. And there's openings here for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and Semedo has gone close, although not fears but hopes for Newcastle and Manchester United, because VAR has interfered. Back to Anfield we go, Maz.
It has, Ian. That Liverpool goal's been scrapped, that Gakpo chance. Virgil van Dijk offside in the build-up as he fed the ball to Konate, the initial shot that was blocked off the goal line. The referee deciding that should disallow the goal. So Liverpool 0, Villa 1.
Neves trying to thread a ball through towards Hwang. Wolves looking to get on top. That goal then disallowed. Livingston lead bottom of the table, Dundee United by 2-1 in the Scottish Premiership. Here is Iwobi. Iwobi looking to hit it long towards Damari Gray. Referee's assistant waves his flag. Foul by Gray on Collins. Paul.
Yeah, it was a foul. The ball over the top. Quite a simple decision for the referee's assistant down here. The longer the game goes for Wolves, Everton are going to have to get more open. They're going to have to get more expansive, and that's what we've seen in the last 5 or 10 minutes. Those cracks appearing, Everton pushing players forward, Wolves creating chances, and they've had a couple of really good attempts on goal.
Well, when Sam Allardyce took charge of Leeds United, he wanted to be going into the final 2 games with something to cling to. As it stands, Leeds United will certainly have something to cling to as he takes Leeds United back to one of his former clubs tomorrow. Commentary at 1:30. Decore. They play Tottenham at Ellen Road, while Everton take on Bournemouth next weekend. Here is Sarabia. He gives it away, and then it actually comes back towards Hwang for the gold shirts of Wolves. Totti is forward on this left-hand side with a cross. Torrens with a volley just wide. Hit it first time, central area, just inside the penalty area, right foot. It opened up his right foot. It was always bending away from Jordan Pickford's goal.
Found himself in acres of space, Prudence there at the edge of the Everton box, right between the penalty spot and the edge of the box. Ball comes in from this left-hand side, swinging into him, opens his right foot up. He just doesn't get enough of a contact on it, and it drifts wide of Jordan Pickford's far post. But another warning for Everton.
Everton will go to that final day with real jeopardy at the moment. 69th successive season in the top flight for them. 53-54 was the last time they played in the second tier. but they're trailing still by 1-0. It was Fulham 1, Crystal Palace 1, but there's been another goal on the banks of the Thames. Henry Moran.
Fulham 2, Palace 1 on the hour mark, and Mitrovic has got his second. Cross from the right-hand side from the free kick. Classic Mitrovic goal. Powerful header beyond Johnston. Fulham 2, Palace 1.
Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1, Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 1. So Champions League football will be assured for both Manchester United and Newcastle United as it stands. Earlier, Tottenham 1, Brentford 3. Wolverhampton Wanderers, who for so long looked like they might have been embroiled in a relegation battle. They're looking to try and win 5 successive games in the top flight in a row for the first time since 1973.
Their attitude and commitment has been excellent today as well. We discussed in the show before the game as to what the attitude of these Wolves players would be coming into this game, that there's nothing to play for. The manager makes so many changes, 6 changes to the team today, but you can't criticise the attitude and application of this Wolves side. They've gone out there today, they've approached it, and they really are looking for the victory.
Demarai Gray has gone down. Sean Dyche, who only lost 1 of his last 6 visits to Molineux with Burnley, hoping that his side can still salvage something from this game with 64 minutes played. They have been awarded a free kick that Dwight McNeil, who has scored 7 goals for Everton in 37 appearances, he scored in 7 goals in his entire Burnley career, comes out from the free kick. Iwobi on the volley, hits it first time, right-footed, 30 yards up from goal, and he's pulled it well wide, and it goes out for a goal kick. We're going to go back to Bournemouth. John Akers.
Midway through the second half, as the Manchester United fans who are singing, they know if it stays like this, they'll be in the top 4. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. Bruno's had a goal-bound shot blocked. Weghorst, a right-foot shot saved. He's on as a sub for Martial. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1.
Of course, that would give Manchester United the luxury of maybe looking to rest players ahead of the FA Cup final against Manchester City in early June. There are no luxuries for Everton at the moment. They're scrapping and fighting for everything, and they've been awarded a free kick. I think the referee David Coote was looking to try and play the advantage as it went out to Ghana, and Ruben Neves has been shown a yellow card. The Wolves captain has been booked.
He's done really well there, the referee David Coote, because a lot of referees would have played the advantage. Everton kept possession, but the ball came out to this wide right area, and Everton were in possession, but the referees realised that a free kick 5 yards outside the box in a central position is far more of an advantage for Everton. A lot of referees would have just carried on and said, you've got possession, play on. The referee's done very well by giving them a free kick here.
66 minutes played at Molineux in the sunshine. Clear blue skies. Free kick for the Royal Blue of Everton. It's right of centre, 23 yards out from goal. João Gomes is going to have to require a change of shirt, so the Brazilian gets that from one of the backroom staff down below. So in front of the Jack Hayward stand, the old South Bank, McNeil and Demarai Gray deep in conversation.
Made for a left footer, isn't it?
It is. It's right of centre. McNeil's looking at it. I mean, he's been in excellent form for Everton. Demarai Gray still there. There's 4 in the wall. Nobody in the draft excluder role on this occasion. Daniel Bentley standing on his left-hand post is happy with the 4 in the wall. 4.5. Podence has just attached himself on the end of it. It's going to be Demarai Gray who runs up. Demarai Gray strikes it into that wall. Comes out towards McNeil, and out it goes for a throw to Everton.
They should have listened to us, Deno. We said it was made for a left footer, and the right footer hits it and hits it straight at the wall. Really poor effort from Demarai Gray.
Keane is going to take the throw. Everton remain in the game but need an equaliser. 5 live. We're midway through the second half. Keane, long, looping throw. Bentley with a commanding shout. Came a long way, and he's actually stayed down as Daniel Bentley. As a goalkeepers union, Paul Robinson, you will be very happy with that confident and commanding bit of keeping?
I wouldn't know, Dano. I made a career out of staying on my line. No, it was fantastic for goalkeeping, especially at this stage of the game. Takes the pressure off all of the defence. Long throwing comes in like that, and the throw-in like that is quite often a lot more difficult for a goalkeeper to judge because the trajectory is completely different. It comes in much flatter and much slower than a normal cross would. He judged it really well, just had his legs taken underneath him when he was in mid-air, but it just takes the sting out of the game for Wolves.
You're extremely modest. I can still remember as you almost single-handedly kept Barcelona at bay at Ellen Road in the Champions League back in the day. There's going to be a double change for Wolves. Where will we go next as this change happens? And it's to Carlisle United in that League 2 playoff semi-final, Chris Cole.
And they still lead Bradford by 1-0, meaning we're level at 1-1 on aggregate. This game being played with all the hustle and bustle you'd expect from a playoff semi-final second leg. Bradford having much more of a say in this second half after a quiet first. Scott Banks with their best chance, bending just wide, but this tie still very much in the balance. 1-0 Carlisle, 1-1 on aggregate.
And congratulations to Dave Challinor and his Stockport County side for reaching Wembley after knocking out Salford City on penalties earlier. They await the winners. Damari Gray shoots. The goalkeeper, that moved in the air. He somehow turned it behind, somehow for a corner kick. Deviated and some.
Does really well here, Damari Gray. Seems to have switched out to the left-hand side. Awobi's a lot more central. Cuts in onto his right foot and he hits a ball, and it really does move in front of the goalkeeper. His centre half Collins doesn't help him. He puts his head in the way, then he moves it. Goalkeeper sees it late. He doesn't have to dive. He just manages to get two fists on it and push it wide for a corner.
Pablo Sarabia is going to be coming off. Podence is going to be coming off whilst these changes happen. We'll go back to Henry at Craven Cottage.
Still Fulham 2, Palace 1. So nearly a third goal for Fulham. The impressive Willian cutting it on his right foot, curling a shot towards the top corner. Brilliantly pushed over the bar by Johnston. Here come Fulham again. Cross comes in towards the back post and it's nodded behind. And Fulham continue to build pressure. 2-1.
Diego Costa is going to be coming on. He's 34 years of age. And he's out of contract at the end of the season. He was signed on a free when he was unattached after leaving Atletico Mineiro in January. This will be his fond farewell. Although he has struggled for goals, he has done a job for Wolverhampton Wanderers as Everton still trailing by a 1-0 with 20 minutes remaining. And Hwang has gone down inside the 6-yard area. There's going to be a slight delay before the corner can be taken by McNeil. David Coote is having a word there with Decore, who I think was involved inside that 6-yard box.
Yeah, Decore just getting himself involved with Hwang and the goalkeeper. Decore's obviously got a role. He's been told to stand on the goalkeeper and not let him come out. And his goalkeeper there, he's got Hwang to stand in between him and the player, which is a good tactic, which is what I used to do. It's very hard. As soon as you put your hands on an opposition player, you run the risk of giving a free kick. But if you've got your player between yourself and the opposition player, you can push your own player to your heart's content.
Former Tottenham, Leeds United and Blackburn goalkeeper Paul Robinson, who's with us here at Molineux today with 19 minutes remaining. They're still at it between Decore and Hwang. Corner kick ready to be taken. A lot of jostling going on. Corner is delivered towards the far post. Bentley backpedaling. Again, another very good take with both hands.
Brilliant. Really, really good take, because that was the corner that we see from Everton all the time. Deep to the far post. Bentley there doesn't know what's behind him. He's judged the flight of the ball. He's gone into a crowd of players and claimed a really good cross under pressure.
Well, our next commentary after Sports Report is at the City Ground. It's Nottingham Forest Arsenal, and the team news from Alistair Bruce Ball.
It's a big one, certainly. Nottingham Forest unchanged for it. If Everton don't win with you, then Forest know a win here and they'll almost be safe. It would also hand Manchester City the title this evening. 2 changes for Arsenal who'll try and prevent that. Tierney and Martinelli out, Partey and Trossard in. No recognised left back in that Arsenal starting lineup.
Thank you, Alistair. Forest 3 points clear of Leeds United, as there is McNeil towards Gay. There's a Wolves player down, but it's not a head injury, so play will continue, and now it's put out of play by Collins. It's Hwang gone down. I think it's just a touch of cramp.
It's a cramp
for the South Korean.
Yeah, lack of match minutes in his legs, and he's just got a bit of cramp. Yari Mina trying to help him out there, stretch him, get him up and get on with the game. minutes running out here for Everton. They want to get on with the game as quickly as they possibly can.
Wolves are going to be making another change. We'll go to Bournemouth. John Akers.
Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. 15 minutes for United to hold on to this, although they look the most likely to score. Bruno, the latest, a volley from 18 yards, saved by Neto, away to his right, and Garnacho is on. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1.
Everton have won the ball. Decore with a shot, blocked by Dawson. Now out of defence, João Gomez. Adama Traore gives it away. Julian Lopetegui is hopping mad on the touchline. Down below, Wolves still lead. We've got 17 minutes remaining. Gay out to Garner. Garner on the right hand side. He waits. Not a great deal of movement. Has to go back towards Michael Keane. He shuffles the ball inside. Gay, forward ball. Iwobi lays it off. Onana gets it out from underneath his feet. Plays it out now towards McNeil. Needs a good delivery. McNeil provides that ball, and then Dawson heads it away. An Everton throw.
Sloppy with possession, Wolves in their own final third. Everton pressure mounting. They're actually snapping into tackles like they did at the start of the game. Dwight McNeil there really well, puts a good ball into the box, and Everton just trying to build a little bit of momentum to get themselves back into this game.
Mario Lemina is going to be coming on for what will be his 100th appearance in English football. Spells, of course, at Southampton and Fulham, as McNeil runs forward and doesn't keep the ball in play and runs it out for a goal kick to Wolverhampton Wanderers, as it's going to be a goal kick that Bentley is going to take. And the change here is going to happen as we go to Liverpool. Maz Faruqi.
Still Liverpool 0, Villa 1, 20 minutes plus stoppage time to play. Liverpool fans getting frustrated with some of the time wasting by Villa, but Moreno hadn't been on the field long. The sub having to be sub for Buendia, and Jota has come on for Jones as well. Liverpool 0, Villa 1.
Hwang, the goal scorer, is coming off, and Mario Lemina is coming on. Somebody who they signed in January from Nice for just under £10 million, the Gabon international. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. Fulham still lead Palace 2-1. Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 1, as we've just heard. Tottenham 1, Brentford 3 was a result earlier. Commentary to come at 5:30 from the City Ground. Everton still trail here by a goal to nil. Time is running out for Sean Dyche's side. Neves with a little flick. Here is Diego Costa into the penalty area. Marshalled off the ball by Tarkowski. The flag's up anyway on the far side.
Oh, really unfortunate there. What a touch by Neves. He plays Costa through almost one-on-one with the goalkeeper via a Cruyff term. You could see when the move come to an end, Neves had his hands in his head because he knew that would be a really special assist. If Diego Costa could have put that back in the back of the net. What a touch by Neves.
So Aston Villa leading, good for their own European aspirations, as Neves caught a little bit by Michael Keane. The referee says no, shake of the head. It'll be an Everton throw that they take quickly. Neves is actually off the field of play, so Wolves temporarily are down to 10 men. Neves is going to hobble back onto the field now, and then he kicks it away as he does exactly that. But as far as the Champions League is concerned, both Manchester United and Newcastle will clinch top four today because of this scoreline. Liverpool 0, Aston Villa 1. Maz.
And Liverpool have made a triple sub, and Roberto Firmino and James Milner, who have come on for their last home appearance here at Anfield in the colours of Liverpool. Two of the subs who have come on, Tsimikas as well. Klopp going for it in the last 20 minutes or so of this game. They still trail 1-0 Liverpool.
In the League Two playoff semi-final at Edgeley Park, they went to extra time. Extra time looms at Brunton Park between Carlisle United and Bradford City. Carlisle United still lead 1-0 on the day, 1-1 on aggregate, 14 minutes remaining. Lemina clears it away for Wolves, 1-0 up, and Jordan Pickford actually says to Mina, leave it for me, but instead Mina will retrieve it midway through his own half. Tarkowski, it's tight and it's tense.
Oh, and what Sean Dyche would do for a bit of extra time, wouldn't he? I mean, his Everton team are coming back into this, they're making no apologies, it's getting more and more direct, it's getting ugly. The referee's going to have to get hold of this game, there's tackles going in.
Garner, handball from Garner, spotted by the assistant referee. Ironic cheers from the Wolves support that Everton can have. No complaints about that. Popped up to try to get round Totti on as the left back for Wolverhampton Wanderers. So it means as it stands that, well, there will be no change except that Everton will only have one game remaining. I remember the 94 game. I hope Barry Horns turned his phone off this week with that 3-2 win against Wimbledon on the last day. His volley, the 2 goals from Graham Stewart, because shades of 94, memories of that, and 98 will certainly be talked about and get their fair share of column inches for an Everton side that have had last day jitters before, surviving by the skin of their teeth. Final day it will go again, it would seem, as they're going to make a third and final change. Here Sean Dyche with Neil Maupay, who really hasn't done a great deal since he arrived. Maupay coming on very, very soon. 26 games without a goal, the worst run of his career in English football.
There's a common phrase, he's due one.
He is. If you go back for his Brighton days, it's only one in 39, and that was against West Ham United. So he's due more than one, really. But and he won't have long to find one either, with just over 10 minutes remaining. The olays now from the Wolves supporters, and the music to the ears of Forest, Leeds United and Leicester supporters. 2 of those 4 will be playing in the Championship next season. Out it goes, Costa, right hand side, Adama Traore, his crossfield ball not cut out by Garner, who has to dive into the challenge to keep out Mateus. It runs out for a throw. 2 Wolves as they attack the end away towards our left hand side. That towering 2-tiered Stancullis stand in the sunshine here. Lamina back towards Dawson, Maupay waiting to come on, Sean Dyche in the middle of Steve Stone and Ian Wone, just waiting and wondering what he can maybe summon up in the next 10 minutes that remain of normal time. There will be a lot of stoppage time, I would imagine, as well. Header away by Keane, up towards Iwobi, back towards Garner midway through the Wolves half on the right hand side. Garner has gone down. Referee's assistant had flagged that to David Coote. He's let the game flow on this occasion. Here is Gay, short ball out to his right, Iwobi forward, level the penalty area, finds Garner. Garner's first time cross blocked. Keane plays it inside, Iwobi 24 yards out from goal. Gay spins away from goal, right corner of the area, delivers a low ball into the box and cleared out by Dawson for a throw.
More and more pressure coming, mounting for Everton down this right hand side with Garner, Gay, Keane involved, Iwobi. Iwobi's taken up a much more central role in this second half, and Everton have used him as a figurehead in the same way as they do Calvert-Lewin. Look to get crosses in the box and balls into him as a number 9.
Here is Keane with a throw. It's a long one. Totti heads it up rather than away. Mina now gets it back towards Keane, who fires it in low, cleared away by Neves. Now, because of the 2 substitutions earlier from Everton, I said that they were only allowed 1 more opportunity because they didn't make one at half time, and therefore that conversation with Dyche, Wone and Steve Stone means that it's now going to be a double change as Tarkowski has stayed forward. Onana heads it on, tries to get there himself. Collins will head it away and then puts it out of play for a throw. Real pressure coming from Everton. Onana is now hobbling on that far side, and the Wolves player's also gone down. It is Semedo inside the penalty area. Let's get an update from Bournemouth with John Akers.
Bournemouth have almost levelled it. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1, 7 minutes plus added time. Kiefer Moore the substitute, 1-on-1 with De Gea. De Gea brilliant with his legs again. Bournemouth 0, United 1.
A reminder that Manchester United and Newcastle, with Liverpool losing at home to Aston Villa by 1-0, will be playing Champions League football next season. Semedo is still down, Everton waiting to make the double change, and Onana is going to be one of the players who's going to be coming off. He's been hobbling a little bit. Now Sean Dyche is bringing Iwobi to this near side to get some instructions across to Alex Iwobi. We'll go back to Fulham. Henry Moran.
Still Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 1. Really impressive comeback in this game from the home side. They were a goal down after half an hour, but Alexander Mitrovic's double, 1 from the spot, 1 a header from a free kick, turning things around. They've been far the better side since that second goal and could easily have extended their lead. Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 1.
Mason Holgate has replaced Onana. Neil Maupay is on for Idrissa Gueye. Still treatment to Semedo. This is going to add lengthy stoppage time here at Molineux, where Wolves still lead by 1-0. Another goal at Parkhead. Conor McLaughlin.
If you want a job done, do it yourself. The captain, Callum McGregor, for Celtic, drawing things level, found space on the edge of the D and rifled it into the back of the net for his 5th goal of the season. It's all square. Celtic 2, St Mirren 2.
Elsewhere, Kilmarnock, who are down to 10 men, trail at home to St Johnstone by 1-0. 1-0. Livingston are still leading bottom of the table. Dundee United 2-1. Motherwell 0, Ross County 0. That would take Ross County level on 34 points with Kilmarnock. Earlier Hearts beat Aberdeen 2-1 in that vital game towards the top of the Scottish Premiership. Going to be checking to see if Semedo is, whether he's suffering with a little bit of concussion, looking at the actions of the physios.
I think that's why the stoppage in play is taking so long. You know that the physios and the doctors have to go through their checks. He's up on his feet, which is a good sign.
In the League Two playoff semi-final remains Carlisle United 1, Bradford City 0, 1-1 on aggregate. And I think that means that we're up to date. Commentary to come. Forest Arsenal at 5:30. 5 Live boxing tonight, live from Dublin at 10. Katie Taylor against Chantel Cameron. The third round of the USPGA's on Sports Extra at 9. Tomorrow the final round will be live on 5 Live. Semedo is taking his time in coming off a field of play. Liverpool Aston Villa, the latest from Anfield. Maz Faruqi.
Liverpool still chasing the equaliser. Jota was free on the far side. On the left, Matty Cash doing really well to get a toe in, timing it just right in the area to get the danger clear. Villa holding on at the moment as we enter the final 10 minutes of this game. Liverpool 0, Villa 1.
That was a lengthy stoppage here at Molineux, and we're now about to get back underway. Semedo is going to come back onto the field, I think. But Everton wait to take a throw in front of their travelling support. They're playing from left to right in their royal blue shirts and white shorts. It's a long throw. Hurled into the penalty area. Mina with a flick on. Headed out by Dawson. Garner. He's going to tee up Iwobi. Iwobi with a shot! Just wide. Took a deflection on its way through. Corner kick.
It deflected wide harmlessly, but Everton really are trying to mount the pressure here. Wolves are going down in the box, trying to time kill, trying to waste time, trying to disrupt play. We really are going to have a lot of injury time here. At the moment, when that throw-in went into the box, Alexander Iwobi was stood on the edge of the circle outside the box. He was the furthest defensive player back for Everton. Jordan Pickford stood on the centre circle. Everybody on the field, apart from Alexander Iwobi, is in the last 18 yards.
Corner taken by McNeil. Bentley punches it away rather than collects it. Bounces inside the penalty area. Headed further away by Mateus. Diego Costa leads the counter-attack. Reaches Pickford. Bit of an up and under that from Pickford, all in green, away towards our left outside the centre circle. Header forward now, but Yerry Mina just seemed to be hobbling a little bit as he ran over towards that far side. Back towards Pickford he goes. The ball is swung downfield by Pickford. Iwobi with a flick header. Michael Keane has stayed forward, and Dawson turns. Back it goes towards his goalkeeper Daniel Bentley, and he puts his right foot through that. The ball spinning, lands onto the leg of Mina. Out it goes towards Garner. Everton are looking to apply late pressure. Wolves bench look like they're going to be making another change. There's been another goal. It's at Fulham. Hold on, we won't go there just yet because Everton get the ball out towards Damari Gray. Damari Gray left corner of the area. Damari Gray backheels the ball. McNeil stands over the cross from the left. Keane has stayed forward. It might fall to Garner. Taken away by Lamina, and the break is on for Wolves. He passes the ball towards Diego Costa. And all of a sudden, Diego Costa out towards the right. Streaking through the middle is Lamina and Mateus. And the ball is lifted into the hands of Pickford. So, to Fulham. Goal, Henry Moran.
Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 2. Joel Ward has scored the equaliser of all places. That's where they found their second goal. Good save from Leno on the follow-up. Ward forces the ball home. Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 2.
If it's tight and tense now, can you imagine what next weekend could potentially feel like?
Oh, our game coverage next weekend is going to be fantastic. All day on 5 Live, and then match of the day Sunday night. It's going to be an absolute must-watch, isn't it? I think we've got one tonight as well, haven't we, the way the games are going?
Well, yeah.
This has been a great watch. I mean, it's getting really scrappy. There's long balls, there's teams hitting on the break. Everton are piling everybody forward. Wolves are trying to hit them on the break. This is going to be a great last 10 minutes, at least. I think we're probably going to have 8 or 9 injury time, aren't we?
Yeah, I would think so. And the emotions as well that Nottingham Forest will feel later on in the commentary at 5:30 will then be replicated by the Leeds United travelling support at West Ham United tomorrow. And if the title isn't won today, then Manchester City can win it for themselves tomorrow at home to Chelsea. Again, you'll hear that here on BBC Radio 5 Live. It's a long looping throw, falls to Mopé, tries to hook it goalwards with his back to goal, slices it, and out of play it goes for a goal kick. Wolves are going to make a double change. We'll nip back to Cumbria. Chris Coles.
Tight and tense is a pretty good way of describing both the atmosphere and game here. Carlisle 1 up on Bradford, 1-1 on aggregate. The prospect of extra time, 2.5 minutes away. It's having an impact on the game. Neither side wanting to lose it at this late stage. The chances have dried up considerably. 1-0 Carlisle, 1-1 overall. 88th minute.
Stockport County await the winners after beating Salford City earlier on penalties. The double change for Wolves. We're going to see Boubacar Traoré coming on, and he is going to be replacing Ruben Neves, and this is going to be a real telling moment here, because Ruben Neves has been such a terrific servant for Wolverhampton Wanderers, and he is given a standing ovation. They signed him for just under £16 million in 2017. He said, "I'll always have a place in my heart for Wolverhampton Wanderers." He's embraced by his colleagues. This is a goodbye for Ruben Neves. He might be out of contract in 2024, but it's quite clear as he stops to embrace every one of his Wolves teammates. Molineux bids farewell to Ruben Neves, and he turns and acknowledges all sides of the ground. What a player he has been for Wolverhampton Wanderers. He comes off the field of play, and we will go to Fulham Crystal Palace. Henry Moran.
It remains Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 2 as we head into the final 5 minutes of the 90. Really entertaining game this. Palace getting back into it thanks to that goal from Joel Ward, his first in 3 seasons. They look the more likely to win it. Michael Elise going close a moment ago. Fulham 2, Palace 2.
And the latest from Bournemouth, John Akers.
Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1. We've got 2.5 minutes of 4 added minutes remaining, so this is going to finish potentially about 10 minutes before the Liverpool game. Casemiro with the goal. Of course, if it stays like this, United and Newcastle guaranteed top 4. Weghorst is in here, but he's squared it to McTominay. Shot there, still 1-0.
In many ways, his farewell overshadowed Adama Traoré, who's out of contract at the end of this season and is likely to leave on a free as well. But it was Neves who took all the plaudits, Paul.
Certainly did. If there was ever any doubt as to his future or where he was going, I don't think it's going to lie here next year. Looking at that round of applause, standing ovation that he got there, and he stood in front of the dugout down here in front of us for a good 2 or 3 minutes, waving to all the crowd around here. So wherever his next move's going to be, he can certainly know that he'll be leaving here with fond memories.
Yeah, most certainly so. Matheus Cunha and Boubacar Traoré are on. Adama Traoré and Neves are off. Wolves still lead by a goal to 0. Michael Keane tries to head it on the edge of the area. We're about to find out how much stoppage time there will be here at Molineux. Wolves then with a slender lead. Matheus with a turn and the acceleration, and then taken out of the game by Garner. A clear yellow card.
That's exactly what he should have done in the first half with Traoré and stopped the goal. When the break was happening like that, that was a clear tactical foul. If somebody in the Everton shirt had done that in the first half, this would still be 0-0.
Goal in the WSL, Tottenham Reading, Mike Williams.
Huge goal at the bottom of the table. Tottenham 1, Reading 0, and its top scorer Bethany England with their 11th of the season. High looping ball to the back post from a corner, and there was England to head it past Grace Maloney from a few yards out. This goal, this scoreline as it stands, keeps Spurs in the WSL next season.
9 minutes, which we're now into. 9 minutes of stoppage time, a minimum of 9, where Wolverhampton Wanderers are leading by a goal to 0, and that has offered fresh hope, renewed hope for the travelling support. The Evertonians shielding the sun from their eyes over on that far side as their team look for a late last gasp equaliser. McNeil hits it long, Keane staying forward, hooked away by Boubacar Traoré, and then played by Costa back towards Semedo. Semedo runs forward, he's got Costa ahead of him, couldn't take it in his stride. Yerry Mina is there, Lopetegui again is hopping mad. Mopé wriggles away from one challenge, runs into another though in João Gomez. Everton though still have the ball, out it goes towards Iwobi. Right hand side, 6 yards in from the touchline, midway through the Wolverhampton half. Holgate then goes back to Yerry Mina. Ball played now by Mina, he goes square. Garner out towards McNeil, still trying to orchestrate things on that far side. Ball is hit long by Garner. Tarkowski had his shirt pulled there by Totti. He stayed on his feet. Tarkowski tries to win the ball back. Decore's also there. Everton battling for it. cleared away by Boubacar Traore. Yerry Mina goes down. Free kick to Everton inside the Wolves half.
Oh, Deno, this is brilliant. It's a must-watch, this injury time. It's that good. I cannot tell you what formation or what position that most of these players are in. This game has really opened up. There's no real structure apart from the Wolves back 4 and 5. It's so open.
Now there's a counter-attack for Wolves, and it's Mateus, and he's going to try and outrun Garner, and Mateus is into the penalty area, and Pickford got something on it to divert the ball behind for a corner, and it's now full-time at Bournemouth. John Akers.
Bournemouth 0, United 1, full time. United fans on their feet. That goal from Casemiro could have guaranteed them top 4. We'll wait and see what Liverpool can do. Bournemouth 0, Manchester United 1.
Manchester United and Newcastle United will be getting Champions League football if Aston Villa can hold on to their 1-0 lead at Anfield. Elsewhere, Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 2. Wolves with a corner kick, leading by a goal to 0. 2.5 minutes into the minimum of 9 to be played here at Molineux. And the corner is going to be rolled short to Cunha. Back then to Diego Costa. Now with Totti on this near side, the left. Lemina sees an area of space and runs into it. Can't thread it through. They lose the ball. And Mopé picks it up for Everton. He's only got Michael Keane ahead of him, and he will find him. But Michael Keane couldn't get there. It's no longer 1-0 at Anfield. There's been a late goal. That's Faruqi.
And guess who in his final appearance here at Anfield? Roberto Firmino bundling in the equaliser. We're not into stoppage time yet, so can they take those Champions League qualification places down to the final day? Liverpool 1, Villa 1.
There is potential then for late hope for Liverpool. The ball goes away downfield. It's headed away by Collins, picked up by Lemina. Everton, meanwhile, well, they're going to face a nervous wait to see how their other sides who are beneath them in the table. Leeds United fare at West Ham tomorrow. A reminder that if Leeds United can pick up a point, that was a crude challenge by Mateus to catch Mina, and it'll be a free kick to Everton. A point for Leeds tomorrow. They'll be out of the relegation zone going into the final game against Tottenham. Free kick though to Everton. We're about halfway through the 9 minutes of added on time. Gray places the ball down. Wolves have got everybody back. Sean Dyche hoping that something from a set piece. Lopetegui very animated in the technical area.
Pickford asking his manager if he can go.
Gray delivers the free kick towards Tarkowski at the far post, and Bentley's there.
Yeah, decent free kick, but the Wolves defence, as much of Everton have thrown the long balls in and the high balls, they've got Tarkowski up there, Keane up there as an acting centre forward. Dawson and Collins at the heart of this Wolves defence have stood so strong all afternoon thus far, but believe me, the bombardment will still keep coming. Everton will look long, they're leaving bodies forward. As soon as they get possession, they'll be going very direct. All hands to the pump for Everton now. They have to get something.
Manchester United and Newcastle United, as it stands, require a point each for Champions League football, with Liverpool dropping points at home to Aston Villa, although they are still playing in Anfield. And we are got 4 minutes remaining of added on time here at Goodison. Everton want to take a quick throw, but it goes against them. It goes in favour of Wolverhampton Wanderers. Sports report coming up on BBC Radio 5 Live, and then at 5:30 Nottingham Forest Arsenal. That affects both ends of the table. What a weekend on BBC Radio 5 Live. Lemina volleys it away downfield. Costa will give chase. Mina plays it back. And Everton with Pickford playing it forward towards Tarkowski. Time's running out, Paul.
I was thinking, Deno, as well, the Liverpool result, if Champions League football is guaranteed for Newcastle, that changes the outlook of the Leicester game on Monday night all of a sudden.
Ball is hit long.
But all of a sudden Leicester are playing a team that don't have to win.
Yeah. Well, with that draw for Liverpool, Newcastle will need a point going into that game. I'm sure that Eddie Howe will want to see it off with 3 points, where they've got such an excellent home record since he took charge. Manchester United have got Chelsea in midweek. That's on Thursday night at Old Trafford, where Eric Ten Hag's side can clinch top 4 football after they've beaten Bournemouth by a goal to 0. Here, though, down at the bottom, with 3 minutes remaining of stoppage time. Clearance away downfield by Bentley. Costa tries to head it on. Cleared away then by McNeil. Dawson challenged by Keane. Headed away by Boubacar Traore. Costa running back into his own half. Challenge then from Tarkowski was a tired one. Gives away a free kick.
They've done really well today of Wolves. I mean, we know that there's nothing on it for this game, but they've put in a real performance. If you're a Leeds fan, if you're a Forest fan, if you're a Leicester fan, you can look at this Wolves team today. They've put in a real performance, and they could potentially get a really big result for other teams down there.
They're still playing in Anfield. Liverpool 1, Aston Villa 1, but they have finished now at Fulham. Henry.
Fulham 2, Crystal Palace 2. Mitrovic has double turned the game around, but Joel Ward's late leveller for Palace sees a share of the points. Hugely entertaining game this. Fulham 2, Palace 2.
And what's the latest at Brunton Park? Carlisle United, Bradford City in the playoffs.
9 minutes have added on time, Ian, like you, and we're into the final minute of it. Still time for late playoff drama. 1-1 on aggregate, Carlisle and Bradford. Carlisle throwing everything at it, but Bradford holding firm. We're close to extra time.
Ball cleared away by Everton on the edge of the area. Mina plays it now to Holgate. Forward ball, edge of the area. It's going to come out towards Damari Gray. Left corner of the box. Damari Gray cuts inside, shoots, and it comes off the head of Collins and loops up behind for a corner kick. That was travelling.
Almost a carbon copy of the strike that Damari Gray had before. Cuts inside on his right foot, hits it, but this time Collins puts his head on it in front of his goalkeeper. Solid defending by Collins, who's been brilliant all afternoon. Jordan Pickford stood in the centre circle having an argument with Sean Dyche. Sean won't let him go for the corner.
Well, goal difference could still be key. There's another ball on the pitch as Damari Gray was ready to take that with the corner in from the left-hand side. By my watch, we have 70 seconds remaining. Everton trail by a goal to nil. Corner, far side the left. Gray swings it in. Headed away by Cunha. Mopé will get there first. Plays it towards Iwobi. Iwobi passes the ball in field. McNeil chips it into the penalty area. Mina gets his head onto it. And then Wolves have seen it behind for a corner kick. Bentley was coming for it, and it was taken out of his own grasp by his own player. Another corner to Everton.
It's chaos, isn't it? The ball needs a rest. It's up, down, it's around. Now Pickford goes forward. Everyone now inside the 18-yard box for Wolves. This really is the last throw of the dice for Everton.
Jordan Pickford is sent forward, all in green. Referee David Coote blows his whistle. He spotted some pushing. Corner kick. Under 30 seconds remaining. In comes the corner from the left. Attacked and met with vigour by Dawson. Out of play it goes for a throw. It'll be an Everton throw. They want to take it quickly. Pickford retreats. Doesn't stay in the penalty area. Out towards the far side. Ball is hit long. Diagonal ball towards Tarkowski. Keeps it alive. Keane is there. It's scrambled in. Everton have done it. Yerry Mina, of all people. Everton have levelled. They're still fighting. What a precious point that could be for Sean Dyche's side. Wolves 1, Everton 1. What late drama.
What's a huge goal from Yerry Mina. A long ball into the far post yet again. Michael Keane causes all kinds of problems. James Tarkowski gets a touch, and it's Yerry Mina with a final touch. The three centre-halves combined to get Everton a point.
The 9 minutes had already elapsed. They said right at the start, the Everton fans, fight for us. And the Everton players have done exactly that, right to the last second. What a moment that could be in the relegation battle. Wolves 1, Everton 1.
It wasn't pretty. It wasn't the most neat football you'll ever see. It's what Everton go to. It's their reset button. It's a deep ball to the far post. James Tarkowski challenges, wins the ball. Michael Keane just looks up, hits the ball as hard as he can across the 6-yard box. And there's Yerry Mina to stab home the most vital of goals for Everton.
Well. Talk about twists. Talk about a sting in the tail. Everton, rocked by injury with Calvert-Lewin and Patterson, right at the end. We're now in the 10th minute of added on time. They kept on fighting. We'll try and bring you Sean Dyche live before Nottingham Forest Arsenal. But that could be such a precious point for Everton. A blue smoke bomb let off in the Everton end. Nearly 3,000 of them have travelled down from Merseyside. The 11 minutes, and now all of a sudden they're wanting the final whistle to sound, Ian Woan. It's a throw to Wolves, cleared away downfield by McNeil, and there is the final whistle. Incidentally, they're going to extra time at Brunton Park between Carlisle and Bradford City, but Sean Dyche is on the pitch. He is applauding. His Everton players never gave up hope, Paul Robinson.
What a massive result that could be for Everton. He's got to be so proud of his team today. They were outplayed in parts, but they never gave up. They kept putting bodies forward. They kept causing problems. I can't remember Daniel Bentley making that many saves in the Wolves goal, but Everton had possession. It wasn't pretty, it was ugly at times, but that's not just the result today. That's the mentality to take into Bournemouth next week. They go away from Molineux today. They don't feel down. They're not trying to get a result. They're coming away from this buoyant. That's a 1-1 draw that feels like a massive win.
4 games now away from home, undefeated, 6 points out of 12. But you could not wish of a more dramatic ending to the one that we've witnessed here at Molineux. We'll try and bring you the live reaction before Forest against Arsenal. But Everton, right at the death, making it the final score. Wolverhampton Wanderers 1, Everton 1.
The Colombian defender keeps Everton rolling. Just about.